The people keep on crying.
The people just keep on crying.
It's not fair. And we going out with some. You with some. All the big people. You with some. Out with some. You with some. All the roadside hustlers. You with some. Tiffy, young Rico.
The big sea divide us.
Tiffy, young Rico.
The big sea.
It's all in the game.
It's all in the game.
Here, there, and
Here,
everywhere.
there, and everywhere.
The people keep on
The
crying.
people just keep on crying.
It's not fair. And we going out with some. You with some. All the big people. You with some. Out with some. You with some. All the roadside hustlers. You with some. Tiffy, young Rico.
The big sea divide us.
Tiffy, young Rico.
The big sea.
It's all in the game.
It's all in the game.
Here, there, and
Here,
everywhere.
there, and everywhere.
The people keep on
The
crying.
people just keep on crying.
It's not fair. And we going out with some. You with some. All the big people. You with some. Out with some. You with some. All the roadside hustlers. You with some. Tiffy, young Rico.
The big sea divide us.
Tiffy, young Rico.
The big sea.
It's all in the game.
It's all in the game.
Here, there, and
Here,
everywhere.
there, and everywhere.
The people keep on
The
crying.
people just keep on crying.
It's not fair. And we going out with some. You with some. All the big people. You with some. Out with some. You with some. All the roadside.
In Liberia, November 1944, a public-spirited person was born.
Joseph Nyuma Wakai from Wasanga, Foya District, Lofa County.
He is a role model. He's actually my inspiration.
He's also a perfect example of humility. He's a very humble person.
Through that papi, the help he start giving all from this one here. I know that when he get there, he will help me. He will help the nation.
In Liberia,
I mean, what are you doing here?
I can't sell.
You selling? What are you selling?
I selling trousers.
I see your car. I see this car in your hand.
Yeah, very, very much disappointed me in the whole party. And our president also. For the movement, I'm no more a citizen. I remain an independent candidate now.
But why you get the card? I mean, I see your, from I see this guy. I see this ID card.
Yeah.
All right. But tell me, why are you disappointed in the president? Why you say disappointed? You no longer a citizen.
Yeah, the president take our country to be a joker country.
Like how?
Leave our country, everything how people not taking pay. They have money, carry quarter and go sport it.
But the man said in negotiating yesterday, he was able to speak to some of the government officials of Qatar, and they're thinking about how they can add something on Lofa County rule.
Yesterday, I was leaving evidence on Carrasco in post. They are in pay 700 ticket in quarter to watch football game. And I don't think Carrasco can look at own money, own personal money, pay 700 our country money in sporting.
So what's your own advice to you? Because you are a citizen and I see your ID card. What's your advice to the president? You stay a president.
My advice to the president is you should stay strong for 2023 because we are going there. We need to take him from there. Yeah, you should stay strong. So I mean, we need to Leon Azar and support his son and stay there. Out there in the country.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know y'all sleeping now. Y'all gotta whip us some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us, the people lie to us, the government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, I said we tired with their lies, we tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to beef? You see, we just tell you that's why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us.
Yeah. We are back. I wanna position myself. Ali, Tia, are you guys there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me play one more song, and then we'll get this thing.
We
We'll get this thing rolling. Let me play a song, and we'll get this thing. We'll get this thing rolling. It's a good day to be alive.
There is a game, and everybody's supposed to play, but everybody against one man, and that woman is homeless. A moment, yeah, because he's a super player. I know. Because he's a brilliant player. That's right. All the opposition starting defense, double defense, triple defense. Hey! But remember, God is not determined defensive. He's warming up. Babette is warming up. Yeah, he's jogging. And the crowd is cheering. Wow, but one thing I want to tell you, Babette, the chocolate defense.
Oh, yeah. Pape Chocolate defense. You know this song here when something I was writing this song. I don't know whether he was doing it like a fortune teller. You know, and this song is evergreen, as they say. It never gets old. Pape Chocolate defense. Pape Chocolate plenty defense as we head towards October. Today is Friday, the 27th day of January, the year 2023. We're glad to be in class today. I see a lot of our students already seated. Welcome to class. See a lot of people on the front row seat. Today will be an interesting day. We'll look at some trending national issues across the country. Here in the U.S., there has been some really troubling news. Many of you already know. We've shared them on the class. You know that we will speak about them today. And it's the weekend. Today is Friday. Last night, I haven't been feeling a little too okay. I was a little under the weather, but I'm happy that I am feeling much better today and we can do the show. Let me say welcome to Pastor Mo. Welcome to Mo Ali. Welcome to, of course, our ever-potent Jerry Limnick, Matthew Pierre. I see most of our students watching from across the U.S., New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, California, you name it. I see people watching from as far as Turkey, there in Africa, Texas, here in the U.S., and here WA, Rehab, watching from Minnesota, all across the world. Today will be a very interesting show. We will I see somebody say Mo. Let me see, Makese, he said Mo transfer from full TV loading. I know we in the transfer season, my brother. There'll be a lot of crossover as we head towards October. Just pay attention. That's all. Just pay attention. One of the things we try to do in the class, as always, is to be as factual as we can, to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. We make it our business here to hold public servants and, of course, everyone involved in the political process of our country accountable. We try as much as possible to speak to the facts concerning the news. Let's say to all of our radio stations carrying out live, Bourgeois Radio FM 98.1 in Monterey County, Premier FM 98.1 there in Banga, Bon County, Radio Dukba FM 89.1 in Grand Bassa County, Voice of Lofa FM 99.3 in Vonjaman, Radio Joy Africa FM 97.5 in Margibi, and of course, Voice of Compa FM 106.5 all the way there in Compa City in Nimba County. On tonight's edition, we will look at the trending issues across affecting Liberia, trending issues, and then we'll look at, there has been a recent development involving the CEO of Spoon Network. And it is only but fair that we come on this show here to talk about what we know based on the facts of the story that are out there. I think as panelists on this show, we have a fiduciary responsibility to our listening public to present the story as we know based on the news. We'll dig deep into it. We'll see how that scheme has affected a lot of families across the U.S. Many of those nurses are part of that scheme, ended up in hospitals, and who knows, some of them might have helped to fast track the deaths of a lot of people, especially during the pandemic period when the hiring protocol for nurses was a little relaxed due to the severity of the pandemic. So there was a lot of flexibility in how to hire nurses instead of, because people with nurses, the pandemic were raging hell, killing people. So those are things we have to look at. And those of us who hold government accountable must also be held accountable. That's how the game works. Those of us who hold government accountable must also be held accountable. So as we hold government feet to the fire, as we push our law, our those who govern the state to act in ways that are respectable, that are decent, that are of integrity, we too, as those bringing these news, must exhibit that same level of integrity. Because for us to be taken seriously on this show, we have to be people who, in our own private lives, in our own day-to-day life, must be people with demonstrated integrity. It wouldn't look fair if I came up here with condemning people like McGill, Tuewe, and other people in government, and I myself too, is found guilty of similar act. I don't think that's fair. We have a very, 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 very critical role to play in the political forward march of our country. And we must move our nascent democracy into a place where we all can be proud of. We all must be held accountable. And let me say thanks to the CSCC also. CSCC, they are by Martin Colley, been doing the local, they've been doing the Liberian, Liberian credential audits. Even though they keep the thing only on Liberians, there's other news here bigger than just the Liberian CSCC. This is something involving the FBI, the Ministry of the Department of Justice. It's a very big case. If you're thinking that this is some of your Morovia cases, I'm sorry, my friend, you're in for a surprise. This is a serious matter. It's on all the news, ABC, CNN, all the news network you can think about. This is a serious thing. The reason it's serious is because it involves lives. It involves lives. And the reputational damage to the industry. The thing is, all of us here on this show will have an encounter with a nurse more than 50 times in your life. And so you don't want to interact with a nurse whose credential is under question or whose qualification. It poses risks to your living, to your own well-being, and I'm sure a lot of families have been affected by some of these unfortunate incidents. And don't be surprised when you see a barrage of lawsuits coming out, especially against those hospitals that hire some of these nurses. Delaware, as we know, also today we'll talk about it, has script the degree of 26 nurses who graduated from some of those phoning schools. And you're talking about 7,600 of them across the U.S. So I know they will be dropping them. And the chain reaction, we'll get into that. With the chain reaction, we'll talk about what will happen, what we think will happen. But without much ado, let me proceed with the show on trending issue. Let me begin, of course, with Pastor Mo Ali, and then our own Gerald Limnick, Matthew Pierre. Pastor Mo, what's trending?
You haven't welcomed our guests, so anyway, our viewer. Anyway, today is an interesting day. I want to thank God.
I'm sorry. Let me welcome all of our students in class. I missed it. The juice too heavy. If you're in class, please say present so that I can read. I see Clara. I see Alita. I see Nebet, Godchild, Emmanuel. I see Prince Jacobs. I see Paco. I see Praise. I see Paco Roberts Sr. Let me see who are watching. Just say present so that I can record. I see my own brother Darlington, my man. You got to test side. Count this show now. I have team all sitting on the fence. I see Tay all the way there in UAE. Mini Paca, Nathan, Rudolph Jala, Augustus King, Praise, Abraham Davis, Ente Grayson, Morris Vanning, Joseph Precious, Harvey, Musa. I see Mariam Bridges, MCK. I see Dr. Asik Flomo, Moses Kenna, Susan, Dauda Kasulu, Tenen Kopo, Bidel Brople. I see Isaac, Joseph Ketor, Maluba Stevens, Visa, Nya, Rita Lawrence, Adolphus Alvin, Augusta Rogers, Sam Zor, Philip Mobile, Janje James, Geraldine Tukbe Jefferson, Humble. I see Humble Sets, Safatu So, Masale, Andrew. What's up, Andrew? Alexander Kedier, Geraldine, Joshua Russell. What's up, my brother? Clara, Nya, Alexander Musa. Kelvin, Joshua, Eloshus Harris, James, John Green, Lawrence Butler, Kelvin, Momo Sandy Manning, Geraldine, Emmanuel, Henrietta Morgan, Fakma Carter. Theophilus, George Galliman, Victor Spencer, Samuka Donso, A.B. Kumar, Political Cooper Passaway. What's up, my brother? Abraham, Tanu Jala, Isaac Flomo, Josephine, Gloria, Felix, Samuel Wu, James, Jones Dumba, Ben Tamba, Sylvester Johnson, Moses, Dauda Clarence Benson, D. Clay Boto, Wilfred Walker, Sarafina, Eden, Nelson, Jones Dumba, Matthew Clotte, Joseph Wimotwe, Amos Cannon. Everybody, Gerardo, Gerald Vining, Ernest Smith. What's up? Track Chokongba, Mebe Tupa, Chokongba, Luce Aku, Erikson Soma, Moses, and everybody. Elizabeth, Joseph Saki from Kakata, watching Amos, Aaron Preston, Phoebe, Warity, Abosio Do, and everybody. Aziz Tokosin. What's up, my man? Your first time in class? Well, yeah, get ready to take notes. There are lots of things here we're about to unpack. Habaku, Isaac Molu, and everybody. Visa and everybody. I'd like to say welcome to you all. It's without you, we can't be here. Please share the show. Invite someone, and let us all have a wonderful day here today. Pastor Mo, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to say thank you. I want to say welcome to everyone. I want to be grateful to God for another opportunity, another Friday. We are here in our good, healthy mind. Today, I believe it's going to be, I don't know how to express it, but it's good that we are reading on the internet what is unfolding in America and in Liberia. I want to say welcome. We all know the trending issues right now is what is being unfolded on the internet and around the U.S. on different local television stations and international television. But for the Liberian newspaper back home, the Daily Observer wrote for the caption headline, Spoon CEO Waterspoon hook in 140 million healthcare fraud. 140 million healthcare fraud. I hope we have lengthy time to discuss it because people need to know exactly what
Yeah.
is the
So once we
penalty.
finish with trending issues,
Yes, thank you. And also, a couple of days ago, I think last week, I spoke about the Liberian government waiving $23.5 million of taxes for government and its citizens from Western Cluster. Only few individuals got together to waive that money. Interestingly, I see on the newspaper, on the Daily Observer, it says government waiver of Western Cluster tax backfire. So this means that the lawmaker called the finance minister to explain what authority they have without reaching to the other two branches of government to explain why they have to waive 23.5 million taxes, money that the country should benefit from. Few people just got up and decide to have it waived. Also, in another land, there is a case that is going on with a Liberian by the name of Gabriel Massacre. Gabriel Massacre were investigated, was sent to court few years ago that had to do with war crimes against humanity and against people in Liberia. He took appeal. The court was unable to find him guilty. It is because of lack of evidence. When the people recall the case, they got to know that Gabriel family members went to meet him. And when they went to meet him, they discovered that Gabriel had have written some information for the people to give to those who coming to who are about to testify against him, whose name was in the case. So the police officer went into the bathroom where the guests used to visit the inmate, and they discovered that Gabriel have written down some names and some information given to his family members to go and talk to these people to testify that he will be acquitted. So these people will be going to Liberia on that case. Also, on Wednesday, I think it was on Wednesday or on Friday, I spoke about a 2 years old baby that was killed in Bombing County. And Mo Ali also spoke on that. The child name is Samomo or Momosa in Bomi County, Swem Mecca. 6 individuals was arrested. These 6 individuals, according to the front page Africa newspaper in Liberia, it said a child body parts was found in possession of grandfather, mother, uncle implicated in gruesome murder of 2 years old boy in Bomi. And the reason why they said they sold this child, it is because of difficulty. I also have another story of a child in a photo, but I'm not going to speak on our story yet. I need to get details on our story, and we will bring it up front for us to understand what is unfolding in Liberia. There's a lot unfolding in Liberia, and little children being victimized, little children being killed. And our government is insensitive. This is the reason why we cannot give this government another term. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor Mo. Mo Ali.
Thank you, Stephen. So on Wednesday, I spoke about the tournament I am organizing for my district as part of the campaign, and we talk about the jerseys. And quite a few persons have contributed towards that venture. I'd like to tell them thank you so kindly. We have had donation or contribution of about $500 towards that. So I want to say thank you, and I will still appreciate more help. Stephen, my trending issue basically is on again the Western Cluster issue. I saw in the newspaper today, I think it was the Inquiry newspaper, that the Senate has voted to halt the Western Cluster operation. And I felt very happy. I spoke with Senator Dillon and another senator, They have said, so basically the senators did not nullify the MDA, the Mineral Development Agreement. What they nullified is the MOU that gave the right to the Western Cluster to start transporting iron ore, mining iron ore. And in that deal, there were actually several portions of it that were violated, and they could not have met all of the what was placed in the deal. And so the bypass, by way of signing an MOU that will give the Western Cluster the right to begin to extract iron ores and transport it by road. I didn't know, or I still don't understand why the rush. The government is supposed to be for the people. The government is supposed to be for the country, and the government is supposed to work for the country. But we have a government that is working for foreign companies. This deal was signed since, I think, 2011. That was during our time. And in the MDA, there are certain milestones that should have been met before a single iron ore can be extracted from Tottenham, Cape Mount, or either of those places. One of the cardinal issues was they needed to have done a complete environmental impact assessment on the route that they were going to transport the iron ore on, and look at all of the hazard that transporting iron ore by truck would have caused. And also, before they can start, in my opinion, you must start to construct the port at Bomboja in Cape Mount. You will also start to construct the railroad. Nothing like that was done. No environmental impact assessment. And then suddenly we look, they bypass, sorry, they bypassed everything and started transporting iron ore by truck overnight. I just wanted to say I'm very glad that the Senate has done such. Sorry, let me drink some more. That the Senate has nullified that MOU. Is no longer going to operate. The other trending issue that I have, when we see it, people say, oh, but what you're doing opposition, you can go do your own too. We are opposition. We are preaching for people to abide by the laws of this country. And if the ruling government, the ruling party is violating the law, it doesn't give us the right to go and violate equally. And we will not venture into violating the laws of this country. We all understand that there are things in the street that were constructed or are there through the taxpayers' money. The light poles we see in the street did not come from Mr. Weah's pocket. The money that was used to construct those light poles did not come from the CDC's bank account. Those money are taxpayer money, whether we credited it or not. It's the taxpayers that will pay. When you take loan from outside, the taxes we pay goes towards servicing those loans. What they have done, Stephen Johnson, they've printed billboards of Josh Weah. They're having some funny something in the coming days, and they've placarded those stuff on all of the street lights, the lights that our money were used. You can public utility for your personal campaign. All the light poles along the road, they've done these small billboards, and they put it everywhere. If other people did that, they will be complaining. They are so violent, they will take it down. We are highlighting this because it is absolutely wrong. And nobody should come tell me, say, oh, but your opposition do their own too. When they're violating the law, we cannot also violate the law. Because tomorrow, if we were to take over, then we will be caught in the same web. So we should begin to tell them to highlight these wrongs that they are doing. Go to the city hall, the Morovia City Corporation, pay for your spots, plant your billboard, and move on. You cannot be using the public street light to advertise your political activities. Thank you.
So, you know, Ali, when you just took it from my mom. When you said nobody will say you're going to do your own. I was just about to tell you, let's do our own approach to a picture, South Joey picture. Because the guys are in campaign mode. They campaign. They're using the state of the nation address to campaign for we are. Pia, can you let me a second? All right. Yeah, they're using it. So I would think that the opposition political parties themselves supposed to do theirs and put the banner up. Let's see now who will take it out. If you take ours out, we take yours out down. And that's how we do it. Ali, Musu says she sent you a message. You should respond once you get it. So let me go to Pia. Pia, what's trending from your end? Welcome.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you. It is a good thing that we have all these different platforms, especially that speak directly to the people. Because as we move towards the elections, there are people who have committed themselves already to try to deceive our people. And most of the folks in the print media are at the forefront of that. If you check the Liberian media today, you will see a couple of stories, and I'm basically knowledgeable about these things because I worked.
Yeah, you sound a little bit low to me.
I don't know. It's the same machine, the same stuff, talking the same way, so I don't know if you say I'm low.
You're good.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Ali, maybe you need to adjust your volume a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, because my volume is even on the last. So you see, all these stories, I mean, when you see multiple stories in different newspapers, but the headlines are the same, then you know something is wrong. So I see a couple of headlines, we have success story. We have success story. We have 5-year development achievement. You see 3, 4, 5 newspapers having the same headline, same wording. What kind of miracle is that? So people are ready to start taking money now and think they can be, and thank God that the society, particularly the voting population, not many of them pay attention to newspapers. They rather turn into the community radio station and hear what we're talking, or what Spoon will be talking, or what OKFM will be talking, what Prime will be talking, what the different media or electronic media outlet will be talking and read newspaper. So the impact of what they're trying to do, which is very unfair to the country, will not be felt. But the most serious trending issue I have is that as we move towards the elections, I'm worried about Liberia. I'm worried because what we have as a judiciary is a mess. America, where we all are, Stephen, this country is strong because the judiciary pushes back on things that will undermine the tenets of democracy. Imagine during the 2020 elections when all the trouble was going on, most of the judges in some of those courts were appointed by the former president who was at the center stage of all that was happening. Those judges believed seriously in their oath. They didn't see the need to commit themselves to an individual over the country. They always stood by the law. That's why you still have something standing today called America. You can't have that in Liberia today and survive. Look, when Councillor Erin Martin took his case to the Supreme Court, from where I sit, I've been speaking to legal luminaries. masters of the law, people with deep understanding of the law. And many of them told me in our private conversation that it was totally impossible under no circumstance that Edwin Martin would lose such a case. That the merit of the case was as clear as snow. But guess what? The judiciary that has committed itself to doing Weah's bidding, the judiciary that has decided to undercut the law and protect Weah and his group, went through that case that was as wet as snow and said Councilor Edwin Martin had no case and that the government won the case. The country is in trouble. That's why you see them arguing and their apologies will come indirectly and be saying, when you have problem with the election to come, go to court. Nobody should want to man the peace. Nobody should do that when you got it, won't go to court. They will comfortably tell you when you got problem, go to court because they know you will not get justice. And that they will always win in the court. Even if the election was rigged and you have all the evidences in preponderance, you go to the court, that very Supreme Court will tell you that your evidences are so, yeah, maybe there were some irregularity, blah, 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 but that's sufficient to overturn the kind of election. That is the kind of court we have, and that worries me. 9 months to the election. That worries me. And we should begin to pay attention to it. Look at what the president did. People wanted to be independent. Kabila Janneh was on that court. They chased him out. What did the president do when he chased people out? Joseph Namwe, who was on the court, President Weah's tribesman, was named by President Weah. When they chased Kabila Janneh up because he didn't want the Mandingo people to open up on him, because he would have put another Southeasterner there though, but because he was taking the seat from the Mandingo people and he didn't want, flashback from the Mandingo people, he brought Kaba, who begs for him. When the Chief Justice left, we needed another Chief Justice. What did he do? He grabbed the web of his close political ally now, Edwin Snow. When the other vacancy had to be filled, he was not looking at it from a holistic point. He was trying to please one of his political allies. And when Prince Johnson started giving him hell, he started dragging his feet to commission that the very justice he named who was confirmed. And when other sons and daughters of Nima started making it an issue that you are politicizing the commissioning of the justice, they put him there. So when you have all the people on the high court placed there on account of the different interests, you're in trouble. The law is not the one that will take precedence. It will be their resolve and commitment to protect Weah. And that when they attempt to steal the elections and you go to that court, you're not going to get anything out of it. So you got to begin to, the people in opposition, you got to begin to show signs that when they play with the elections, in the words of Charles Taylor, like he said to G. Henry Andrews, even the angels from heaven may not be able to save those who will want to do that kind of injustice to the country. Those who will want to trample upon the will of the people and do the bidding for a government that has failed massively. We got to play out. Look, the international community is doing a great job. I read what came from the State Department, the U.S. State Department 2 days ago on Nigeria. You know, Nigeria is going to election next month, the 25th of February. And the U.S. government is clear that all those who will in some way try to undermine democracy in Nigeria, try to subvert the will of the people, and do things against the transparency and credibility of the election will be sanctioned by the U.S. They have said that 1 month to the election. That gives me hope that in a country like Liberia will do similarly. But as they're doing this, we got to complement ourselves. We got to be prepared to the extent that even if it means These people with their 2,000 army want to kill everybody and kill us. But when they rig the elections, even the 2,000 army should not have a ground to stand on. And they got to see signs from all that we mean, and that's what we do. And that's the reason why some of us are gearing up to get back home. We're not going to sit abroad and just say in a respectful act, we will be there. So the folks in our court got to listen. If you create hell in our country, even Jesus Christ will not protect you. You got nowhere to stand, you got nowhere to hide. You better allow the will of the people to prevail in the elections that we are about to hold. If it is the will of the people that put we are there, the will of the people should be allowed to remove him. You in the court will not be the one to keep him there if the people don't want him. You are the election commission will not be the ones to keep him there when the people don't want him. All the nonsense you're doing watching you. The other front page had to carry the story about you requiring national ID. And you knew that was nonsense. You got to rush to clarify. Because a national ID program that is cost intensive, you got poor people suffering. Where they taking $10 for to go pay for national ID? How decentralized is a national ID program that you want to use as a requirement for voting? So it's good you said that from Africa lie, it better remain there. You gotta fire your playing whistle. You're playing with fire. And finally, I heard the former representative, my own friend, Wale Siwa, do not telling the government like brother, when I deal with Prince Johnson. Don't know who they will deal with. They will deal with you? What's your influence in Nima? You're all sitting under Prince Johnson, right? All of yours. You're a smart guy. You became a representative. I think you went 2 terms. The third one, you say you're not running again. Prince Johnson say, okay, me, I will keep running. They keep electing you. You say they will not listen to you. Who do they listen to? You? Or who? So far, as has been established and proven, Prince Johnson is a man. We may not like him. I don't like him. But he's a man. He's proving that all of you guys, intellectual, progressive brothers, you failed. And Prince has triumphed over all of you. So when you tell somebody when I listen to your seniors, who do you listen to? If you don't want to listen to Prince Johnson, just stand up. Let's see the candidate you're bringing against Prince Johnson in October. You're going to win. Then we'll take you serious. This is the man who got your whole government feet on the fire. There's the man who got your president laying down on your stomach and snake and licking the man's shoes. If a government fails to deliver, then what can happen? I remember in 2011 when Ellen was seeking re-election. Oh, the confidence was so high. We were so convinced that nothing would stop Ellen from winning. But from where you are, you even know where you are. You backing Paul all over the place. You backing Jamaica, you backing Prince Johnson, you backing Jim Barney, you backing this person, Ellen Tyler, who your key, you're making somewhere, who everything bring down. You're backing it all. Even though a part didn't get member, like your cars, those days were cars and money. Right now, you didn't get a car, you didn't get the money, everything gone. You get member, you're begging for what? What LPDP brings to you? But that's desperation. A government that knows that it has performed and will be re-elected cannot do what you're doing now. I'll stop there, Stevie.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you. And I know that. So I was saying this thing about what Ali said earlier about this banner thing. I'll talk with the youth of the party. Let's see. I think that thing costs maybe $5 or $6. Let's see whether we will raise some money on this class here. We'll put Joseph Boaga picture on our scene thing and have the youth of the party to nail it on the scene like post. Side by side to that job. We are nonsense. We'll nail our own poster there with Joseph Boaga picture on it. Side by side on that nonsense on the level. Let's see who will be crazy enough to take that down. But Pierre, I don't know what. Let's go to the main to our main conversation today. Pierre, are you there? Ooh, I don't know. But I mean, let's. I don't know whether Pierre is there. Oh, okay, Pierre there. All right. So, guys, let's go to our main conversation for the day. This has been a trending news across the U.S. We woke up yesterday morning to a very shocking news. It involves the the CEO of a network, Spoon TV. Spoon TV network owned by Stanton Witherspoon has been in the news, trending in the news. Not just the news in Liberia, but I mean the American news. For something very, 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 very embarrassing. As far as we know, he ran a nursing school that was issuing fake degrees to people who sought degrees in nursing, and these fake degrees, as far as the record shows, were sold for $15,000 a piece. We also do know, based on the indictment, that 7,600 of those degrees were sold. When you multiply 7,600 times 15,000, the minimum was 15,000. You're talking around somewhere around $114 million. $114 million was generated by these through this scheme. Yesterday, the FBI and the Ministry of Justice, the Department of Justice, as they call it in America, issued an indictment against Stanton Witherspoon, the CEO of Spoon Network, on charges of wire fraud and a list of other things. As far as the indictment also say, each person could face up to 20 years or more, depending on the on what the judge will say. But these are serious things. These are serious crimes. The reason they are serious is because it involves human lives. A fake nurse is more dangerous than an armed robber. Let me just put it in context. A fake nurse is far more dangerous than an armed robber. The reason a fake nurse is far dangerous than an armed robber is because the armed robber will come with a gun. You can barricade your house. You can have your own weapon in your house, or you can have your security guard, and you can try to prevent them because you know that they come in the night. You could put iron bars and other stuff to prevent them. In the case of a nurse, you go to them. You wake up not feeling well, so you go to them for service. And when you go to them for service, they are privileged. They are privileged with all of your information, your heart rate, all your vital signs. And most of the time in America here, it is the doctors who, after doing your examination, will leave you in the care of the nurse. So the nurse will be the main person in America here. The nurses are at the epicenter of the medical profession. They are at the core of the medical profession. They are not like people who just stay. They pretty much, in the absence. Sorry, somebody was calling me. That few minute conversation with the doctor, the nurses take over. In America, yeah, you see it all through your time in the hospital. You're basically left with the nurses. So that's why nursing profession here in America is a very serious profession. Very serious profession. And let me say kudos to all of those nurses out there who went through the program sincerely. We respect you. We value your degree. You're a lifesaver. And you are the kinds of people that society needs. Anybody who takes an oath to save life is somebody that we should respect. And so anybody who tries to denigrate, to bring this profession to public disrepute, to endanger the lives of people only because you're interested in the benefits, the monetary benefit that accrues, then it becomes concerning. And oftentimes we've said here, times of our numbers, that it is better to live an honest life, work 8 to 5, 9 to 5, 6 to 3, whatever you want to do. Be honest, make an honest living. And when we hold government accountable, when we speak about the ills of society, we too should be held accountable. We who are the people bringing government feet to the fire must also be held to accountable. We support a man whose philosophy is based on integrity. Joseph Boakai, 40 years in government, and people laugh. When you talk about Joseph Boakai being a man who living on loan, they laugh. People laugh. We've seen them on some of these same shows. Laugh that because Joseph Boakai said he lays on loan, it was funny. That this man who served his country as vice president, minister of agriculture, LPRC boss, could not get money after all those years, but living on bank loan. People thought he was not. It was a fool, and they laugh. They laugh about it. And so it just shows how when we tend to be greedy, it backfires. It backfires. In Liberia, we say 99 days for role, but 1 day for master. And so when you want to be dishonored and you want to bring other people down, only because you've acquired wealth through illegal means, it backfires. God sees you. God is a God of justice. For those of us who are Christian, we know that God is a God of justice. And so those of you who come here and say, oh, you're not praying for people who steal money, or people who go to Liberia, exploit our people, or people who, government official who like McGill. You have pastors praying for McGill, for example. Pastors laying hands, waiting on McGill. When they see God say, thou shalt not steal. The same Bible tells you that thou shalt not steal. Then when you steal, then pastor go pray. I told somebody yesterday, you need 500 Nigerian pastors. If you really want their kids to die, you need 500 Nigerian pastors. Other people live in this America, earnest living. They push their cartoon. They go to work, double shift. Pastor here told you the other day, he works sometimes 16 hours. Only because he wants to make an honest living. Other people go work in the nursing home, do the late job to feed their family. While other people sit in the comfort of the living room, use, like Brent man said, the crocodile means to acquire wealth. And then people say, oh, they don't talk about, hey man, I pray God will bless people. God do not answer the prayers of crooks. I've said this times of our numbers. And so let me play a clip. And this has been a very serious thing. And those of you who think this matter is a joking matter, you better think again. If you think this thing is the typical Liberian thing, oh yeah, my man, after 9 days they will forget. Computer don't forget in America, my man. People who even committed crime in World War II, far back of 1940s, they're still being arrested in America. And let me just also say before I play the clip that whenever the FBI issues an indictment, chances of you being freed is what we call a Poisson probability. A Poisson probability. Because before the FBI says, Stephen Johnson, you are indicted, it is a process. It is a procedure. So normally that investigation takes anywhere between 3 to 5 years. So they'll have all of the detail. In America, yeah, they call it, that case is airtight and it is a slam dunk. When you see the statistics, and Pierre talk about it, 99.6% success rate of cases that the FBI presented and won, 99.6. Now, the remainder 0.4%, your survivability probability in there is 17%. Because out of that amount, 83% of the people who survive, 83% in a small percentile of people stay indicted. And so your chance of survival is as small as the eye of a needle. And this is it. And so if people think that we all should use illegal means to acquire wealth and help Liberia, there's something wrong with us. There's something wrong with us. And this is the kind of Liberia, look, we made mistakes. The previous government, we made mistakes. And this is why we think that this is the fair opportunity we have to correct some of the mistakes we made in the past. And if we must correct the mistakes of the past, we cannot keep doing business as usual. We are behind Joseph Boakai because he's a man of integrity. We hope that he will fix Liberia and that he will go after people who have exploited our country and looted resources. That's why we behind. We're not behind Braga because we want jobs. What job? The job where they not cut those salary 3-4 times. Minister in Liberia making $3,000. That's some people want with money there. You work in America, I want with money there. You do feel all that I want with money. But we beyond this, man, so that we'll fix. And finally, the first way to fix this country is to fix the justice system, to go after people who have exploited our people, squander the wealth of the nation, and live in luxury, while the majority of our people live in abject poverty, destitution. This is why we're in this. We're not in this because of jobs. We're in there because this is the only opportunity we have to fix Liberia for good, fix Liberia for our children and our children's children. This is the opportunity we have. See the other foodie man talking about you want job. The job I do in America, I can even hire a minister. If you already know, the job I do in America, I can hire somebody a minister in Liberia. So just shut up here and just watch.
Still, you got to remain focused on the show. You follow people comment and you get off track. You don't want somebody to comment on your page and you block them, but when they're there, the fact that person is angry with you, but they still got a patient who can't listen to you, tells you how stupid they are. So don't even recognize it. I'll be a very stupid person to go listen to something that I know hurting me.
Exactly. And I will be happy. And this thing with JB and not about just CDC official, past and present, government official, everybody who thought they stole money before. And we will take that thing and far by ChatGPT King Day, we'll take it there. Let's build this country. Let's fix our country once and for all. Let's turn a new page. Let's move our country into a direction that we all can be proud of. And so let me say this. And let me play the clip. There's a news clip out there from one of the American news outlets on this Stanton case. And this is a serious matter. Let's play the case. Let's play the clip. And our panelists will weigh in on this. This is a very serious matter. I want you to take a listen carefully at the news. Listen to the news as we play it, and then we will all give our perspective on this matter. Just a second. Let me pull it.
Connection to what federal investigators call a massive scheme to sell fake nursing degrees. We learned today that 2 Burlington County residents are among 25 people charged with operating the nationwide ring. Now, according to investigators, the group peddled more than 7,000 bogus degrees and nursing certificates to the tune of more than $100 million. Action News reporter John Paul joining us live in Camden tonight. And John, the feds say some of these fake nurses put real patients in danger.
Yeah, and that is the real concern tonight, Brian, that they may not have the background to actually treat people in a hospital-type setting. You know, I've confirmed tonight that Delaware actually annulled the licenses of 26 nurses already. And the feds tonight, they're charging people across the country, including 2 in South Jersey.
All of us feel this is egregious.
Strong words from the executive director of Delaware's Board of Nursing after learning of a massive scheme out of Florida to sell fake nursing degrees. And tonight, we've confirmed 26 nurses in Delaware had their licenses annulled in connection to the fake degrees.
These people who went to these Florida schools did not complete the curriculum, the education, and the clinical training that is required of all nurses to be eligible to sit to take their licensure exam and to be licensed as a nurse.
She says there are no reports of patients being harmed, but tonight 25 people across the country face charges for their involvement in the scheme that brought in more than $100 million, including Stanton Witherspoon and Alfred Sellew of Burlington County, New Jersey. He's home? Okay. Can we talk to him? We tracked down Witherspoon at his home in Burlington today, but family members said he couldn't talk. Over the phone, he told me he had to check in with his lawyer. Wednesday night, the Department of Justice released findings of what was dubbed Operation Nightingale.
When we talk about a nurse's education and credentials, shortcut is not a word we want to use.
Now the FBI is working to notify state nursing boards to ensure that unqualified nurses are not working in healthcare.
You're playing with people's health. How dare you play with someone's health like that?
It is important to note those nurses in Delaware, they have the right to appeal this decision. I also reached out to the nursing boards in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey, still waiting to hear back from them. Live in Camden, John Paul, Channel 6 Action News. Brian?
Yep. Connection to what federal investigators call a massive scheme to sell fake nursing degrees. We learned today that 2 Burlington County residents are among 25 people charged with operating the nationwide ring. Now, according to investigators, the group peddled more than 7,000 bogus degrees and nursing certificates to the tune of more than $100 million. Action News reporter John Paul joining us live in Camden tonight. And John, the feds say some of these fake nurses put real patients in danger.
Yeah, and that is the real concern tonight, Brian, that they may not have the background to actually treat people in a hospital-type setting. You know, I've confirmed tonight that Delaware actually annulled the licenses of 26 nurses already. And the feds tonight, they're charging people across the country, including 2 in South Jersey.
All of us feel this is egregious.
Strong words from the executive director of Delaware's Board of Nursing after learning of a massive scheme out of Florida to sell fake nursing degrees. And tonight, we've confirmed 26 nurses in Delaware had their licenses annulled in connection to the fake degrees.
These people who went to these Florida schools did not complete the curriculum, the education, and the clinical training that is required of all nurses to be eligible to sit to take their licensure exam and to be licensed as a nurse.
She says there are no reports of patients being harmed, but tonight 25 people across the country face charges for their involvement in the scheme that brought in more than $100 million, including Stanton Witherspoon and Alfred Sellew of Burlington County, New Jersey. He's home? Okay. Can we talk to him? We tracked down Witherspoon at his home in Burlington today, but family members said he couldn't talk. Over the phone, he told me he had to check in with his lawyer. Wednesday night, the Department of Justice released findings of what was dubbed Operation Nightingale.
When we talk about a nurse's education and credentials, shortcut is not a word we want to use.
Now the FBI is working to notify state nursing boards to ensure that unqualified nurses are not working in healthcare.
You're playing with people's health. How dare you play with someone's health like that?
It is important to note those nurses in Delaware, they have the right to appeal this decision. I also reached out to the nursing boards in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey. Still waiting to hear back from them. Live in Camden, John Paul, Channel 6 Action News. Brian?
Yep. Connection to what federal investigators...
So, guys, there you have it. You listen to the news. You see it. I'll post this video on the class. I have posted another one. I'll post this one. You listen to the news, you see it. You see how this thing is not an ordinary case and something that involves the lives of people. It is a U.S. government versus Stanton Witherspoon. This is not a case with state. Maybe say it's state of Florida. This is the U.S. government versus. You see FBI even notifying medical facilities about some of these nurses. When you see this and you look at and knowing everything you've seen over the last few hours, guys, what do you make of this? Let me begin with you, Pastor Mo.
Well, this is so dangerous. I don't even know how to begin with this because the fact of the matter is that I'm shocked. From what I have read and what I've sent to you all, I don't know if you got look in your messenger. I sent some information out. These guys started this criminal thing since 2015. And for you to engage in fraudulent document that have to do with the health sector, I think it's tantamount to a suicidal mission, because reason is that you are accrediting people who did not train in that field of studies. And
it's like giving a mechanic a medical degree.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It is a suicidal mission. And why did they do that? It is because of money, because of greed, because they want to live a lavish lifestyle. So you giving somebody a certificate, not only a diploma, also a transcript, not only a transcript, but you giving them lesson to go and sit the board test to work in a reputable hospital. Do we all know how many victims? Do we all know how many lawsuits now is pending for those hospitals who family have lost loved ones and relatives? It is scary. Right now, as we all listen to the news, there are 26 individuals from the Delaware hospital that the licenses has been revoked and they have been sent home. We just listen that they can take appeal, but will it be accepted? Will they be able to work?
And these people have already been working in this facility for years.
Yeah, and what I'm looking at, I think those people are going to be charged under the law because
exactly, especially knowingly going to that school and acquiring a degree when you know you didn't go through the curriculum.
Yes, because you paying for a degree, you paying 17 grand for a degree, and why are you paying for something that you know you are not capable of doing? And from what I read, they are not using their institutional name. They're using other institutional names that are credible and giving them this lesson in disguise that this is where this is a criminal gang. And I tell God, thank you. How can Liberians sit on social media and say, let's pray for this man? You think this is Liberia, where you give murderers, you give criminal position, and you stand with them and say, I stand with you? We need to understand. People need to give account. And if you go into any criminality and you go there willingly and say, let's pray for him, God will answer, you people make God vex. You people make God don't want to answer nobody prayer. Because these people did this thing willfully, knowingly, and consciously. They did these things. And you come and say, we stand with you. The fact of the matter, before I conclude to turn it over to Pia, I want people to understand, before the FBI come after you, they have all information to substantiate the fact that you are part of the ring. And if you listen to the news, they all was arrested. But in America, when you are arrested, they allow your lawyer to sign for you. But know this, you can't travel out of the country. You can't travel until after your case. And if you have flight risk, they're going to put banger on your legs. You're going to be monitored. These people are criminal. And for the fact of the matter, if you have such a case on you, you shouldn't be on social media talking about politics, talking about credibility. You should be in the back now and allow people.
Yeah, I think he should leave the network until his name is cleared before he comes. He has no credibility to discuss Liberian politics.
No credibility to discuss about Liberia. These are the things that we talk. People just get on social media and just talk rubbish. We're all doing research. And one thing I appreciate Honorable Pia for, whenever I say something and I step out of the bound, he don't correct me in the back. He correct me here. And what I do, I'm willing to learn and I accept it. And that's what I respect him for. But you are on a network where nobody can put you in check, and you got a criminal there putting you in check. You got a criminal putting you in check, and you start coming to a criminal. Thank you very much.
You know, I see somebody, it's good that we educate our people. Nobody here passing judgment or saying somebody is guilty. We're saying that if anybody on our network here is indicted for any malfeasance or illfeasance or misfeasance, the honorable thing that person will have to do is to recuse themselves from the show until such indictment is cleared. Because what it does is that it undermines the integrity of the show. If I come here every day and say, Joe, we are corrupt, Maggie corrupt, Bilton corrupt, everybody corrupt, then myself get corruption charges hanging over me. What moral foundation can I stand on to call somebody corrupt? It undermines the credibility of this show. So this is what we're saying. And let me come to you, Ali. You a lot of people don't know this about Ali. Let me just say this on this show. Well, we must spend plenty of time on the topic. La for like jeez. So Ali, a lot of people don't know this. Let me say this about Ali. Ali first degree Ali's first degree is in biology and chemistry. Ah, but no. Ali didn't do anything I got to do with political science in college. Ali's first degree is biology and chemistry. And so Ali has far more understanding about these medical thing and the danger. For instance, I have never sat in, I did biology in LU for a few semesters. I'm not a medical practitioner. I've never been one. I don't even claim to be. Imagine, Ali, imagine me getting a certificate tomorrow morning after I pay 15 grand, and now you see me in JFK telling you I'm a nurse and you come for treatment. How will you respond to that? If you went to JFK one morning for treatment and you saw me there as a nurse now, saying that I'm here to treat I'm here to treat you. How do you respond to that?
So, Stephen, thank you. It is the same thing we are facing as a country. From 2005, we had one George Weah who came and say he wanted to be president, and people ran behind him. 2011, 2017, finally he became president. Against all of the campaign and everything that we said. And sometimes when we're talking, then highlighting the ills in society, you hear people say, how did we get here? We got here by voting for somebody who has absolutely no knowledge about leadership, who throughout his career, he played football, all of the other ventures besides succeeding in football, every other thing he ventured into, he never succeeded. And so the question, I know you didn't do nursing, you didn't do medicine. And then I saw you suddenly at the hospital, I'm running away. But Stephen, those who go to medical school, you talk to them. And when we were doing biology, the first thing, when we did math under Double Jala, he never scaled grades. When you score 89, from 80 to 89 at B, he gave you B. In many other places, they will give you A. In the medical school, my understanding is that they don't scale grades. They don't scale grade because if I score 69.5 and you say I'm rounding it up to 70, in the case of an engineer or in the case of a medical doctor or a nurse, when you make 0.5 mistake on your patient, it could lead to the patient's death. If an engineer made 0.5,
we lost him. I think we lost him, right?
Yeah, that Miami.
Yeah, I think Ali got internet problem.
Yeah. So why Ali is trying to sort the internet. Pia, let come to you. And I know you one person been following this news closely. You've been paying attention to the news. You've been seeing. You watch the news. You read the indictment. And one of the things it says in the indictment that we have to highlight here is on the last page of the indictment. On the last page of the indictment, it talks about how the proceeds from this scam, all of the proceeds that were generated from this scam and that were used to acquire any asset, be a physical or what kind of asset, it will be seized. Or it will be seized. All of the, once you use that corrupt proceed to acquire properties, to acquire assets, all of those assets will be seized. So it says that clearly. And Ali was making a point about the danger of having a nurse or a medical practitioner who has not been well trained. That a medical mistake on a patient is not ordinary. It does not let you. It does not let you're doing you're doing puzzle and you just made one mistake. You gotta go look for the piece and find it. This is not any slight medical mistake on a patient is either death or a permanent injury for your life. We've seen it in America here, where doctors or nurses make slight mistake, give you the wrong medication or give you the wrong stuff. That's life for the rest of your life. You live with these consequences. So we're talking about 7,600 nurses spread out across. We don't know where all of them are. We don't know where they are, what they've been doing. Spread across. 7,600 spread across. Maybe some of us might have interacted with some of these nurses ourselves. We need to now start going to look by some of our prescriptions to see whether we went for at these hospitals or what the nurses get. And this is the fear. This is why I make the kids very interested, because the reputational damage to the nursing industry will create fear in us patients. It will even make some of us to go to hospital and start asking nurses, can we see your diploma? So that we know which school you graduated from, so that we can be sure that you didn't buy this nursing degree. It will reach to this point where people will go to medical to hospitals and ask these nurses to show their diploma, so that we can all verify before I sit under you. So this is how dangerous it is. So Pia, when you watch the news, you read the indictment, you follow the events, you're seeing how people have lived in opulence and extravagantly, and brag about wealth, brag about successes, put other people down, call them broke, I got living on loan. Everybody corrupt. All Ellen people still government money, passing around. So these are things when you put yourself in a position to talk about things like this. What do you think is this case about? Pia, Ali, you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Yeah, so I'll conclude then, Pia.
Yeah, let me say my piece on this quickly, because my internet seems to be fluctuating tonight. We are little rain, so maybe Orange is giving problem. So like I was saying, when you make 0.5 mistake on a human being, it could lead to the death of that person. So I ended up where I stopped from was that, thank God, what was done in a country where the people had the capacity.
Oh no, Ali, I think we yeah, internet is not in the best of shape tonight. Pia, Jack, go for it. Why, Ali?
Well, so here is it. I don't want to pay attention to how people living, whether they're in opulence, whether they're in riches. I don't want to pay attention. I want to look at the issue very critically, and I want to start with certain housekeeping concerns. So Mr. Witherspoon runs a media conglomerate, not just what you see online with the Spoon Talk situation. He owns former Super FM, owned by Calando in Monrovia. He owns Fabric, a radio owned by the late Victoria. He got a Spoon Television. I know there were attempts made to buy OKFM and Prime and other media institutions. So he runs a media conglomerate, and they've been doing media work. In Liberia, they have professional journalists employed on the Spoon Talk, perhaps a group of people who are basically political commentators, not journalists, but they run a media institution. So my first disappointment was, if you follow since the advent of Spoon, if you follow and you want to see which institution has made herself the mother of breaking news, that institution is Spoon. Sometimes I pick up certain breaking news from their page. The first disservice the entity did to themselves and the public is that, unlike other people's cases where they were breaking news all over, they didn't see the need to break this news concerning their CEO. That was dishonesty number one. Number two, A day after the situation when they decided to host their show, they purposely decided that they would not mention anything about that situation on the show. So all the panelists came, said nothing about it. They went on to their anchor man from Monrovia, and they asked the anchor man to tell them about training issue in Monrovia. And the anchor man said the only training issue in the whole country as I speak to you now is the Western Cluster. And none of them had the courage to even say, hey, wait a minute, we have this indictment, and that is a news all over the place. You say back home that Western Cluster, the trending issue, none of them had the courage to say that. So I must give it to Witherspoon, because when he realized that even his own people were not men and women enough to just be honest to the public, he came on for 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, he said what he wanted to say. And one of the things he said, oh, you know, I can talk, but right now my lawyer, Henry A. And as he stayed up for the 5 minutes, he said, I'm even tempted to talk. And when I look at that, then I felt sorry. I said, this guy could be headed for trouble because I think emotionally he's not balanced. That was observation number one. What? You're a media institution. This is news. Why were you not talking about it? Observation number two. I see people on the live screen support questioning you, why you're talking about this thing. The man are not being convicted and blah, blah, blah. The allegation has been proven. Let me ask some of those very people. When you are pressing President, we have to fire McGill, Cephas, and Bill Travel. Which court convicted them? Which court they went to that phone and guilty? Before you ask President, we have to fire them. They resigned on account of whatever came from the US. Were they convicted by any court? So we can't be hypocritical. In as much as I'm not a fan of the government, I oppose the government, I'm hard on them. If yesterday a US sanction report made you say McGill should leave his job, Cephas should leave his job, Bill Travel should leave his job, and now you're telling us we should not mention the other Sunday because we'll wait until the court tries the case and finds the person guilty? Why would these people who are running with the Lacazette story all over the place when you are also indicted here in America? So what makes Witherspoon's situation to be different? Yes, I agree. They will go to court, and thank God there's a US where the law is the law. They will go to court. But just remember this. In this country, you don't have to live here, go and research it. When the feds go after you, the success rate of their prosecution in terms of conviction is 99.9. Stephen reduced it for you, he said 99.something. It's 99.9. The reason is simple. If you follow this very case, you see the role the FBI have played, the role the other person has played. They do so much detail that before they come and say, Stephen Johnson, we're charging you, their facts are together. Because mind you, if they just came and did all these things, for example, the Witherspoon, before the fights, and it caused all the embarrassment for him, or he can sue them. And that's going to be a big issue. So they do a lot of in-depth investigation before they come up to the point of indicting people. So this matter is serious. But let's leave our relationship and our friendship and everything we have with Witherspoon. I got nothing against Witherspoon. I haven't sat with that young man before. I think I met him 2 times. And the 2 times I met him was just at occasion. I went to Philly, we said memorial. We left the church, we were to where we were having a refreshment. He was seated with some people. I walked to him, shook his hand, I greeted him, we smiled, both of us smiled with each other. There was another time I met him somewhere at another occasional place. And that was the only 2 times I met him. Yes, we hear a lot of good things about him in terms of how generous he can be to people, how he's helping people. But no matter the amount of generosity, no matter the amount of goods you do, if we say we want a Liberia that will work, then we gotta be honest in paying attention to people when they're in trouble. Joseph Boakaja walked to a hospital to take treatment. It was a big panel discussion on Spoon. Mo Ali was in a situation he could not handle. It was a big panel discussion on Spoon. When people cough, that discussion.
They don't airplane ticket.
They don't do an airplane ticket. Who money that discussion? How come an indictment by the federal government, a federal indictment, not even a state-based indictment, how come a federal indictment they now worth discussing? By the very media institution that was discussing situation you can't handle, somebody private plane ticket, and all the different things, somebody walk to hospital that nobody can get sick. If all these things matter, how come a federal indictment that is raising questions about 114 million is being swept under the carpet by that very platform?
So you see where the views come from.
And you're coming on the live screen talking about nobody have been charged, it's allegation. Oh yes. Whatever the US said about Bill Travel was allegation. Whatever they said about Nathaniel McGay were allegations. Whatever they said about C4 were allegations. Whatever they said about Daniel Cassell were allegations. But you want to be crucified. We have not come here to say crucify Witherspoon. I know what we're saying. We're just raising the fact that this is serious. Come to think about it and ask yourself. 7,600 nurses purchase fake degrees, fake diploma that say they are nurses. They are deployed in the American health sector, dealing with human beings. For your information, let me tell you that because I live here. Of late, in the last few years, there's been so much medical errors in the different hospitals across the US. So many medical errors. And the difference is, like our country in Liberia, where doctor made mistake, you don't make mistake, nobody get out for it. You die. Yet hospitals can be sued for medical errors that lead to whether the person is handicapped, whether they die, whether what happened. So this amount of people put the health and safety of the people in the US, millions of Americans at risk. And if you thought that it was a joke that the FBI have been digging into the thing for years, oh, they didn't just come up with that indictment. They've been digging into this because it's serious. And we should be more worried because if care is not taken, most of the people who purchase the degree will be our own people who don't like hard. They don't like to do anything hard. They don't want to study. They don't want to go to school. Because we got thousands and thousands and thousands of Liberians in this country. And if the scheme was being spearheaded by the Liberian citizen, it's possible that many of the beneficiaries who are buying the credentials could be Liberians. Those are double trouble. They could go after them. You see, they removed 26 already from the Delaware area. Meaning they're identifying them. They're going after them. It may not be enough to just remove them. They may be subject to persecution. It's a big situation. Very big situation. And I mean, we'll talk further on it, but let me say this to Witherspoon for me to rest so we can hear other people who go further. Yeah, I like your courage. You wanted to show face. You wanted people to see you. You wanted to give the public the impression that they see me anything. When you appear on the show for that brief time, that's one thing I expected from you. Because things can come on social media and they may not be true. They may be false. So when you came, my number one expectation was for you to confirm that what people saw on social media as an indictment was indeed an indictment that you have been informed about. And thereafter, announce that for the peace of yourself, for the peace of your family, for the credibility of your media institution and what they do, that you will remain disengaged from anything of such until the matter that you face with is addressed. That's what smart people do. But you wanted to assure everybody and you wanted to make it look like that thing is that nothing, like that common thing. So he said, we'll be here, we'll come on the show, we'll continue the show. And you are tempted yet to say, oh, I even tempted to start talking. And that's the danger of Mr. Witherspoon. If the guys have been investigating you for that long before they indicted you, everything you do the following year, all your social media activity the following year, when you continue to come on that show and you get tempted to talk about your case and you say some things that can put you into further trouble, then you'll be destroying yourself. My kind of advice to you as a professional person, as a Liberian like you, yes, you got court to go through, you're not being convicted yet. Pay attention to that process as they will be unfolding. Leave that platform business. Except you tell me that Dr. Francia with PhD, Timothy George, well-educated, Dr. Peabody, Ben Sandy. I mean, at least I got some regard for these people. I will not call out other names from Freetown because he should not even be sitting on that show in the first place. Doesn't understand anything. But at least you trust the other people to run that platform for you. And by the way, I understand the other guy from Freetown is so nice. I hope they're not from the same school. I hope they have the same credential he got.
He also failed the protest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hope he doesn't have that same credential. So that was my advice to you, brother. That would be my advice to you. But don't try to make a big issue to look simple. Without wanting to discuss the dead man, I know that Okasa attempted saying. There were times he said, although, when you run an institution, you got to take responsibility. It is the institution that is being indicted, not me as a person. But behind the scene, he knew it was a big trouble.
Yeah.
And you see how suddenly a healthy man, strong man.
And this case is even bigger than Kasa's case.
Yeah, strong man. Just give her the ghost. From what is now, whether it was heart attack, cardiac arrest, or whatever, because they got a different category, whatever it was, he's gone. I think that the Kassel case was around 9 million.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, we're talking about 114 million. Wire fraud is standing up. And then the sale effect degree is standing up. It's multiplicity of charges. And all these charges were made federal charges. They are as serious as hell. You cannot, look, in Liberia, you can attempt to try cases in a court of public opinion. You got a judicial system, doesn't work. So you try to buy public sentiment. In America, it's the court. That's the reason why I don't think, having confirmed that yes, the indictment is about you, you've been indicted, and you confirm it to the public, that should be the end of the discussion. The rest of the thing, the media institution can talk about you as a person, just pay attention to your legal process. Because here, you don't hear no cases here in the court of public opinion in America. It is the courts. The courts will decide. And the law here is the law. Right now, as we're speaking here, Joe Biden is the sitting president of the U.S. He's been investigated for classified documents. Donald Trump is the immediate past president. He's been investigated both for January 6th and classified documents. Mark Pence is the immediate past vice president. He's been investigated for classified documents. That's what made America great. Nobody here is above the law. You can be whatever. When you break the law, they apply the law on you. So we got to be concerned because Stanton is a citizen of Liberia. Stanton is deep into the politics of our country. So it's not private or ordinary. He's in the public space. He's a part of the discourse in his country.
Actively.
The things that concern him will concern the Liberian populace. So if he is indicted, we will not draw a conclusion But it has to come to the public as we are doing. We cannot bury it like what his network attempted to do. That nothing happened. So Mo is bad. Stevie, let me read for now. Mo is bad.
They check out. But
yeah, you know,
Yeah, let me say something.
but before I come back,
before we lose you.
yeah, man, let me talk my piece. And Pierre ended up with what I really wanted to say. You know, some of these things, they happen in the bigger country. They have all of the capacity to investigate. And sincerely, it didn't just come out yesterday. Like Pierre said, they investigate over time. And we have been hearing. The first time I heard about the investigation into Stanton was when the Dr. Cassette news came about. And somebody called and said, well, Dr. Cassette is out, but they are investigating Stanton as well. And I believe that he will go to court. He will hire his lawyers. He will defend himself. But I am not going to cut a slack on him on this one. Because when you run an institution and these things are happening, it did not just happen in one day time.
Yeah, you consciously did this.
If it is the FBI that is doing the investigation, which it was, then it means that it's something that must have happened over a period of time, protracted period of time. Because I know it's not just any kind of funny thing they call FBI to investigate. I don't live in the US, but I know those of you who are there.
Okay, Eden are drinking cranberry juice.
It's not just any kind of funny thing they call FBI to investigate. So if you didn't know about it, then the question that we will ask is, how then were you overseeing the operations of the institution, of both of them? Because some people could not have just sat in the clique and just start issuing degrees or lessons. Is it lesson or certificate to nurses? And the medical field is not something that you can play with. What I know here, I think every year or two, they can review the licenses of the nurses and the medical doctors. Because if you are not even practicing constantly, you become rusted. And so let Stanton have the opportunity, and thank God that is a miracle. He is going to have the opportunity to go to court and plead his case. I'm sure the state, the US, will present the evidence they have against him. And at the end of the day, whether it is the jury or the judges, they will make the decision. They will come down with judgment on the basis of what they have seen, the kind of evidence that will be produced from both sides. I'd like to rest now on this. And I just wanted to come in with this breaking news. I have seen a communication reportedly from the long-term journalist, veteran BBC journalist, Jonathan Pelede, has expressed his interest to contest on the ticket of the Unity Party in Nima County, District Number 8. He has been a long-term member of the Liberal Action Party, and after they got together. So I just wanted to break that. And I said reported. It has not yet been confirmed. I'm going to get in touch with him to see if we can invite him on this platform.
That's how to talk to him and see.
Yeah.
But you know, Ali, when you talk about this Stanton case and you look at the conundrum, the cascading effect, I will put it, the cascading effect. You give licenses, they go into the field, they are paid.
Steve, before you go for, let's just make this point for some people who may not understand what is happening here. Nobody here is against Witherspoon. Witherspoon indictment is news, and when news are made, media outlets discuss the news. I was critical from the beginning of my comment on Spoon because Spoon is a media institution. It didn't make no sense why they avoided talking about something that is on news. Whether that person affects somebody that you know, if it's on news, you can pick and choose on why you do as news. So we're discussing it as a news. For some of us who only all that we live here, we know what federal indictments are. Nobody will try to make it a load that is not nothing, and nobody will be bothered about that. It's serious. And because it's on news, we're going to talk about it. When it start, the prosecution will start, we keep talking about it as stories relating to it keep coming. Those 7,600 people, they'll start laying hands on them. As they lay hands on them and we get the news, we'll talk about it.
Exactly.
Tomorrow, when they go through the case and Stanton is exonerated,
we'll come here and talk about it.
We'll come here and talk about it. We'll say, thank God, this time around the feds got it wrong. They lied on a young Liberian man, and thank God he came out with flying colors. All right? Until we get to that point, the truth of the matter is he's on an indictment, a federal indictment. That's news, big news. Bigger than Joseph Boakai walking to the hospital. Bigger than somebody saying, oh, Mo Ali in situation. Bigger than all the small things that people can have. You the party go to convention in Bon Country. One guy want to be youth congress chair. The man ORA. They deny him. If that begin talking point that Unity Party was in chaos in Bon Country. If those petty things could be discussed, why would a news outlet play blank eye to a serious news like that? So that's what we're doing. We got no interest in liking or hating anybody. But the same way Donald Cassell was indicted, we talk about it. Now we're talking about it one. The same way Nab McGill, CFOS, Bill was sanctioned, we talk about it. Now we're talking about it one. The same American people that did it to build and you're celebrating, you're saying a good thing. And the same American people do it, you're saying, when I talk, we'll wait for until the man is guilty first. That one is not correct. That's not correct English though. That's that good English. That's not good English.
And that's true. And Pierre, one of the things I wanted to say is when you look at the effect, people say I'm people in the book, the chain reaction, you know, this happened, right? What will lead to what? So for instance, you gave these people licenses to go practice as nurses, right? They go in the nursing fee, they start working, they're making a decent pay, so their livelihood, the living standard increase because they are nurses now. They're making the salary of a nurse, right? The ripple effect on them is, for instance, imagine these 26 nurses. Once their licenses are annoyed, they might no longer be capable of working in the medical field. They have to now go start with new careers. Their living standard drop. So this is just one side. The second side is families whose patients were in the care of these nurses, that today their certificates have been nullified, and anything that happened to those families while in the care of these nurses, those families will have to sue. So we don't know that the lawsuit could also not just affect the hospital directly, but that the lawsuit could also affect the school. Because if the school was knowingly issuing license to people who, you know, use those licenses to come into the medical profession, the chain reaction there could be enormous. So this is not just an ordinary case. This is something that we will pay attention to. This is something that we will watch closely here on the classroom. And as Pierre said, we're not discussing Stanton as Stanton. Nobody hates him. I've never met him before, even though we spoke on the phone a couple of times. But nobody hates him. He runs a media entity. He's heavily involved in the Liberian politics. He's one of the major actors as somebody who runs a media entity. And so we have an obligation here too as talk show to discuss it. It's in the news. It's a global news. It's something that warrants our our view, our analysis. And so for us to pretend, for us to come here and pretend like nothing happened, I don't think even y'all who watching us will take us seriously. You guys will think that we are a bunch of jokers. We are people who are shielding criminals or alleged criminal or people involved in alleged criminal activity, or that we too are beneficiaries for some of these schemes. And so the reason why we talk this is news, not targeting nobody. If, as Pia said, if he's cleared, we'll come here, we'll talk about it. If he's found guilty, we'll still talk about it. And as we go through the investigation, we'll also talk about it.
Dillon was a chief funder of this platform. Many of the places where he slipped, including his ticket issue, the infamous pension bill. We dealt with him until he ran away from the show.
Yeah.
And that's how you give credibility. You don't close your mouth or let nothing happen because the person concerned is one of you, or is your friend, or is your relative. No country will get changed like that. When the wrong that we all complain about is being done by somebody who is not related to us, then we are champions of it. Not until our own friends and family fall in and we believe nobody should talk about it. And when everybody want to talk about it, then they hate the person. I know you will say Front Page Africa, then all hate what else put on, because Ronnie is always on that network. And Ronnie's headline is what? You say, what did he say? The fall or the great fall?
The fall.
The fall. So the fact that Ronnie is conclusively saying by a headline that a man has fallen, you will say the man hates him? No, it's a journalist. That's the news for him. That a guy who controls a media conglomerate to have a federal indictment in the opinion of that paper, in the editorial judgment, is a fall. And you not interpret that to say, oh, they hate a man. Or Stephen Johnson and Uncle really they're talking about it because it's news. They say, oh, why are they talking about it? Just to leave that thing. That we just hate each other. They hate the man. The same problem we have with the national leadership in the country. When the president and all his people taking the wrong decision, people won't talk about it. They just hate a ball. They just hate a ball. How come you define every freaking thing as hate?
I know, and I have another video here. Let me play the second video. It's the same case. Let me play the second video here. Let me play this one.
Sold fake nursing diplomas nationwide, and there are more arrests to come. Local 10's Roy Ramos is live with this developing story. Roy.
Nicole, this was a $114 million scheme where nursing schools based right here in South Florida sold those fake diplomas at $15,000 a pop. Those students would then take that diploma and in some cases obtain nursing jobs without even having the proper training. U.S. Attorney for the Southern District Mackenzie LaPointe surrounded by federal agents to announce the results of Operation Nightingale, a scheme where fake diplomas and transcripts were sold to thousands of people across the country in order to work as registered nurses.
The last thing we want to learn is that the nurses administering the medications, the ones charged with carrying out doctor's order, took shortcuts on their clinical training and used fake nursing diplomas to get their licenses and jobs. Unfortunately, thousands of people have taken these shortcuts.
7,600 that federal agents are aware of. 30% of those who purchased the $15,000 fake diplomas went on to sit for state exams, even passing them.
Use those fake credentials to sit for state board examinations, obtain their nursing licenses, and ultimately get jobs at hospitals.
We learned the 3 nursing schools selling the fake documents were based right here in South Florida. One at the Palm Beach School of Nursing in West Palm Beach, another at the Siena College of Health in Lauderhill, and at Sacred Heart International Institute in Fort Lauderdale.
25 individuals have been charged across multiple states with wire fraud crimes, including conspiracy.
While agents have already identified several facilities where people may be working as licensed nurses who obtain those jobs illegally, the concern is the safety of the patients being treated by them.
To date, we have not learned of nor uncovered any evidence of patient harm stemming from these individuals.
So 21 arrests have already been made. 2 more are expected over the next few days. As a result, agents have notified nursing boards across the country. For now in downtown Miami, Roy Ramos.
So, Pia, you see 21 arrests have been made under what they call Operation Nightingale. And those of you who know Nightingale, Florence Nightingale is the one who the nursing professional is. There's this old nurses take. It is the they have some of the nurses will know it better than I do, but it's she was the one who inspired to a larger extent this professor. So it was called Operation Nightingale. Now 21 persons have been arrested as far as we know. And also the journalist said that 2 other arrests will be made in the coming days. He clearly stated that. Now, one of the guys who is listed on the sheet, the charge sheet, the indictment with Stanton has been arrested. I will publish his mugshot in a couple of minutes once I put it. But Pastor Mo, what do you have to say?
But before Pastor Mo comes, Stevie, so they've talked about all these arrests. So where is Stanton? Is he arrested? Stevie, are you there?
Yeah, we don't have any specific details yet whether he's been arrested. It's also possible that he could have been his lawyer might have signed for him and he's under house arrest. The last information we gathered was that he was under house arrest. I don't know. I can't verify, and it's also possible that he might be out on bail. So those are technical details we'll have to find out. But in the coming days, we'll have more information on this matter to report, especially on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday as they unfold. But this is as far as we know. This is it. It's possible he's out on bail.
Yeah, because even from that video you show, the press people had engaged his home.
Yeah.
And the guy taking his garbage. The guy taking his garbage confirmed that he was home, but that they could not see him.
Yeah.
And they managed to reach him on the phone, and he said, "Well, my lawyer is handling it." So yeah, okay.
Yeah, possible he posted bail. Possible.
Yeah. In America, when there is a case on you, you will first be picked up, but they will allow your lawyer to sign for you while you go and they prepare the day for the hearing. But I have something here that I want to read, and I want many of our listeners to listen, because we are not just speaking off head. It is not a gossip. I have an information from the indictments that they have released, and I will read. It is called, this is count 3. I will read count 3 and I will read count 6. Robert Pia, I think I did send it to you in your messenger. So I will read count 3 and I will read count 6. These are description of wire transmission, and I will read. But I want our people to understand, like Robert Pia said and Brother Johnson said, we are speaking on issues that is trending in our nation and in America. So if other network can discuss issues on other people, I don't see the reason why we can discuss it. Nobody here envy anybody, but when there is a criminal drag net that has been burst, it becomes a trending issue. So I read this description of wire transmission. Brother Johnson, I also send it to you. It's a text message via interstate wires from Stanton Witherspoon to co-conspirator 1 in the Southern District of Florida, containing a photograph of an official transcript for nursing applicant PO listed in date of birth, a graduation date of 05/20/2019, and course completion for year 2015-2016. Let me read count 6. Count 6 is very interesting. Count 6, text message via interstate wires from co-conspirator 1 in the Southern District of Florida to Stanton Witherspoon, discussing Stanton Waterspoon sending information for conspirator 1 to process 33 nursing applicants. To process 33 nursing applicants. So what were they doing? In every text messages that we send to anybody is being monitored in the US. It's being monitored. Nothing is hidden. And this one thing that I say, and I will continue to say, we are not saying Stanton Waterspoon is guilty, but if you are discussing issues confronting Liberia, if you are discussing about people in position in Liberia, if you are discussing about election in Liberia, you are not credible now to discuss those issues because you want to be the face of Liberia to discuss issues. And I say to Mr. Waterspoon, you need to recuse yourself from your broadcast and let other people discuss issues confronting Liberia because you are not neutral when it comes to issues confronting Liberia. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and you're right, Pastor Mo. You're very right. And that's why, in fact, when Pia spoke about it, the credibility of your organization, of your business, hinges on the fact that it has come under serious reputational damage. It's something that you have to pay particular attention to because when you position yourself as a watchdog of society, because the media is essentially the watchdog of society, and as media entity, there are 3 key components people say that your news must be accurate, they must be balanced, and they must be credible. Now, the reason people look up to the media for balanced, credible, and accurate news is because it is believed that the media has a high level of ethical principles that they stand by. For us, we are not a media institution. We come on for a few hours, do our talk show, talk about issues in Liberia. And so it is only but fair to your listeners for you to recuse yourself from the platform. And since the platform itself is a source of some of what we know, it's also important for you to pay attention to that. So I think in the interest of the credibility of his entity, it will make sense for him to recuse himself for now until the case is adjudicated, hopefully in the coming days or months, depending on how fast the Justice Department intend to move this case. So, Pia, what do you make? I'm trying to load the picture of one of the guys who's listed in the indictment. I have it here. So you see, this is one of the guys listed in the indictment. You see there you see his name. His name is Renning, I think. Renning is one of the 3 persons listed. Now, this is his mugshot. He was arrested by the U.S. Marshal Office on charges of corruption to commit wire fraud. So the U.S. Marshal Office arrested him. He was born on April 15, 1974. He's a black man. He's a male. Charges is on hold by the U.S. Marshal, hold for U.S. Marshal Office, conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Now, he's one of 3 persons listed. If you watch it, there's this, you have Stanton Waterspoon, you have Alfred Sulu, and then this Renning Bernadette guy. So 3 of them are listed on the my glasses on this on the charges. Now, this guy has been arrested as we speak. He's currently in the custody of the U.S. Marshal. I know he's been turned over to.
Steve. So let's correct something because we are a serious online people. People expect us to know better. So, Remy just said something that maybe getting some people panic. No, it's not true that every text message people send are monitored in the U.S. That's not true. It is only when there is a reasonable belief that a crime is being committed by a person, then the FBI or law enforcement.
Oh, when you use certain words.
Yeah. So you it's not generally to make people scared to say anytime you test people, just know that.
Yeah, or when you use certain words. There are certain things you say in text message it will be flagged. For instance, if you just send a text message, say, let's go bomb this place, it will be flagged.
Exactly. So let's correct that because we are serious people here. So we're going to guide them to just with a line to people like that.
Yeah. It's so you see, one of the guys, this guy, if you read the indictment, he's one of the guys listed. He has been arrested, as we know, by you muted, Pierre.
Same put it by or try to call his name when you remove
it. I can see your name because it's covered.
He's Bernardel, Bernadel, Bernardel Rain, Reme.
Okay.
So he Bernardel Rain. The other guy is Son Silo.
Yeah, Alfred Silo.
Alfred Silo, Sellu. So yeah.
But this is a serious matter. I hope Ali can come so we can take calls.
Yeah, because this matter is serious, I think we have done justice to it. We keep talking about it. I believe the audience following, I see the viewership is a bit huge today compared to other days, and I know it's also being carried live on the page. A lot of people following that too. So I think it'll be fair to give enough time.
So yeah,
for the callers to weigh in, let hear their perspective. Let not be just Stephen Piamo, Pastor Mo, just keen the talk, blah 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 for 3 hours and move on there. Let hear their own perspective. We gone 2 hours plus since we started our discussion, and unless you got something else.
No. I
hope Mo can come back. Mo, if you're listening, come back because the point like everybody's struggling with what's online will not be effective. If you can, come back. Jupor, I don't know what's wrong with Jupor. Jupor, can you come and take the call?
No, Jupor, you remember he sent an excuse yesterday?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to try to come back.
I think we got plenty of new student today.
And some of our other panelists, Daniel Sano, maybe Dylan and the rest of you. Somebody got to come with a local number so the people can call, please.
Yeah, Mo Ali, if you're listening, please come so we can take calls on your phone.
While we wait for them, you can put the number on so people can be trying on the WhatsApp at the same time calling direct.
Let me put your number
there. I think some Mo is not on here. It will be good to put Pastor Mo number there too. Maybe he can be called.
Yeah, if Pastor Mo can give me a number, I'll put it there. So if you're listening, we only have one number for now. It's the overseas number. You can call on WhatsApp using this same number. It is +1 401 688 8266. That's +1 401 688 8266. So if you're listening, you can call to participate and give your take on what we've discussed so far. Somebody said that one of the new students. Somebody want to play the video again?
Yeah, maybe you can just play the video. Say I don't have call yet.
Yeah, let me play the video.
They're not ready to call yet. You can play the video.
Let me pull that video out.
Connection to what federal investigators call a massive scheme to sell fake nursing degrees. We learned today that 2 Burlington County residents are among 25 people charged with operating the nationwide ring. Now, according to investigators, the group peddled more than 7,000 bogus degrees and nursing certificates to the tune of more than $100 million. Action News reporter John Paul joining us live in Camden tonight. And John, the feds say some of these fake nurses put real patients in danger.
Yeah, and that is the real concern tonight, Brian, that they may not have the background to actually treat people in a hospital-type setting. You know, I've confirmed tonight that Delaware actually annulled the licenses of 26 nurses already. And the feds tonight, they're charging people across the country, including 2 in South Jersey.
All of us feel this is egregious.
Strong words from the executive director of Delaware's Board of Nursing after learning of a massive scheme out of Florida to sell fake nursing degrees. And tonight, we've confirmed 26 nurses in Delaware had their licenses annulled in connection to the fake degrees.
These people who went to these Florida schools did not complete the curriculum, the education, and the clinical training that is required of all nurses to be eligible to take their licensure exam and to be licensed as a nurse.
She says there are no reports of patients being harmed, but tonight 25 people across the country face charges for their involvement in the scheme that brought in more than $100 million, including Stanton Witherspoon and Alfred Sellew of Burlington County, New Jersey. He's home? Okay. Can we talk to him? We tracked down Witherspoon at his home in Burlington today, but family members said he couldn't talk. Over the phone, he told me he had to check in with his lawyer. Wednesday night, the Department of Justice released findings of what was dubbed Operation Nightingale.
When we talk about a nurse's education and credentials, shortcut is not a word we want to use.
Now the FBI is working to notify state nursing boards to ensure that unqualified nurses are not working in healthcare.
You're playing with people's health. How dare you play with someone's health like that?
It is important to note those nurses in Delaware, they have the right to appeal this decision. I also reached out to the nursing boards in Pennsylvania and in New Jersey. Still waiting to hear back from them.
So, Pia, I was just reading.
Yeah, the calls are coming back to back, so we make it a bit. I got somebody line already, in fact.
Yeah, let me just say that I was just reading just now that an undercover agent had attended the school on March 13th of last year, right? 14 days later, they gave the person the degree saying that they graduated June of 2018 with a GPA in nursing of 3.4.
Yeah, that one is normal. Yeah, undercover agent will always. So when you you're paying attention, undercover.
So the agent met a guy called Adrian at the school. Adrian collected the money for him. The agent said the agent wanted a nursing degree, so they gave him a degree after 11 days after he went to the school. 11 days they gave him a degree saying he graduated. The back did it and say he graduated June 2018 with a GPA of 3.4 in nursing.
It's the same thing we say, yeah. The FBI involved with something, they will not indict you. They don't
so the
have
man got in 14 days.
Okay, caller on the line, go ahead.
Thank you for having me. This is Samuel Walker from Philadelphia. Thanks you guys for flagging the issue as it relates to Stanton Witherspoon, recent indictment in America. You know, as Liberian, we need to balance our argument as it relates to those that are involved with crimes in our country and out of our country. And Stanton Witherspoon being one of those involved in his recent indictment, this brings up to the image of the Liberian community in the diaspora. So it is just necessary. It is fair enough to discuss the issue. Unlike all Liberians are saying, let's pray for the brother. Let us not talk about it because he's a Liberian citizen, he's a Liberian brother. I think this is wrong. We Liberians need to change our mind and attitude towards those that are affecting our society and the Liberian community a lot.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Involvement to crime in our society.
Let me get short. Thank you. Caller on the line from Monrovia, go ahead. Good evening, sir. Yeah, when you call, you struggle to get on the line, then you still listening to yourself on the device, so you lost your opportunity. People calling back to back, you get through, then you still listening to yourself on whatever you listen to the program to. Call on the line, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is Habib Sharif, Washington, D.C. Thank you guys for the show and bringing this to our attention. Just want to say to the listeners, this is a very, very serious issue. I've been living in this country well over 30 years. I mean, once FBI knock on your door, they're not bringing you a Christmas gift. This is serious, serious issues. And we have to be mindful. I work at a bank and work in departments where we do go after the fact. Let's say you do get a loan and you can get a loan with false documents and they'll give you the loan. But there's a department called Quality Assurance where they review all the documents to make sure that you do qualify for that loan. So we shouldn't, you go ahead and take 15 grand, giving people diplomas, playing with other people's life. This is a very serious issue. I don't know if prayer can help at this time, but let's keep watching. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Caller on the line. Go ahead, call on the line.
Thank you, Mr. Pierre.
This is James Lancer here calling from Baltimore. Look, just to add, I've been really disappointed that the Stanton had in mind to come on the station yesterday. And like Prophet Key was saying, without any, sensitivity for even displaying the least level of remorse, or at least for the circumstances that he found himself in, he should have stayed away. That was bad. And he had the audacity to, even within that time, to go on attacking others if he was corrupt. So that is just sad, really, for that young man. And I see that he's completely in denial. And time will come that we all wish that the worst doesn't happen. But his behavior kind of parallels the behavior of the young man with whom, who had a sad experience recently from Liberia as well. So we need to watch out and really encourage Liberians to come here in the city and seek to live, as Stephen, what Johnson was saying, live an honest life, go to school, learn, and earn your living, honestly. We also learn from that. And it is sad that Liberians generally don't seem to be bothered with the culture of corruption, and they're talking about praying for somebody who, has been involved in acts that are dangerous in many respects. That Stephen was saying.
Okay, bro. A lot of people on the line. So let's stop it there. Thank you for your point. Yeah, let's stop it there.
And the second number is on if you want to call.
Yeah, I have a caller.
No, more anyway. I got somebody on the line. Caller on the line. Go ahead.
This is Strong Banapigin calling from Canada.
Oh, Strong Banapigin.
Yeah.
But we really got plenty of news students here today. Go ahead, sir.
Well, first of all, I want to address Stanton's supporters who are criticizing people for talking about the issue.
Yeah.
In ways we are talking about it. The first thing is, when there are issues about other people, and this is the hypocrisy in the whole thing, when there were issues about other people, the same Stanton were over here talking about the recent indictment of McGill and others, the Cassell thing and other issues. And now they don't want to talk, and they don't want other people to talk about this Stanton thing, and they classifying it as it. Look, if you are in the public eye, you got to conduct yourself in a manner where you will be seen in that moral rectitude. So Stanton was aware, very aware, that this day will come, and it's not hate. He knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew that it was against the law. We are not celebrating it, but it's an issue that we have to discuss.
Exactly.
Because he's in the public space.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Mo, go ahead.
All right, caller, go ahead.
Good evening. This is Samson Mare calling from Buchanan Grandmaster County.
Hold on, something. You're getting it right, Steven?
Say?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is Samson Mare calling from Buchanan Grandmaster County.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, please, can you please allow me? I want to speak my dialect pastor and give the people the information, because a lot of people listening in the rural area right now.
You can take 1 minute to give that whole information, but go ahead.
All right. There be a park more. Garu there on the equipment in the car. We do that, but we do Garu. We could do what I've done. What else going on? Moke or Puma and Dima be or Blake be a guy. Vamples and butchers are for Gabo. Moke Dima and you come to a video on Gavema. Okay, 1 minute to get car or say payment. Okay, on a man. We can now. We are going. The board year about on a million. Or two second arm or data for one in the people put again. We are there 2 hours data with 1 in the cool. You make a while where come off from one flag on a good go out from car and running. America was police of one or FBI. When she had no before a gun up when we are then before my game, same. There were more than Bagan and Canada about on the little grove where before my game. Melissa, we don't support me there. Wagenci la ganina nga baso lu puye adiga ngemo stanto water spoon o memria spoon wala spoon chop wa TV show bro chake mbama o tuwa bobu
Thank you, Steve Marley.
Moali.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
heard what the man said, you're laughing, you know what the man said?
I am enjoying the pastor, that's all.
But where the man left your whole stand-on thing, the man say, one man in America, they can't stand on, he came on his show, he talk about nobody can get Lauren, he talk Baba thing about nobody can get Lauren. Then when he finish talking about the Baba thing about nobody can get Lauren, and Balo can on him, he go do that up in America, he keep plenty people, they catch him. So that's the man talking about that. Ah.
I say, go ahead, Uncle, go ahead. Good evening, go ahead.
This is Bobby Abu Menska from District 6 SD Kuburu. Let me appreciate you guys this evening for this beautiful show. You see today and more to see a personless Tonton Waterspoon who sit on his platform to preach integrity. I know.
I can remember about me, Bojao.
Free for us. This is the man who loved Basta as Senator Dillon for Ryan First Class. This is the man that loved Basta and Omer Boaga when he made Ellie Snow to go on a platform to display messages that between and Snow and the old man. This is the man today has found his death in his kind of eye. Them people telling all we should wear anointing oil on men and Tonton Waterspoon that not deserve to have space in our political arena. Some of all who will say no. This man must face the law. The law is the law. You must not go to America. Many are looking for such an opportunity that Tonton Waterspoon has today. We go there with two cartoons, but not to go and dig the people's system to carry on fraudulent in America. Do you know what I mean? That is a big crime. Some people like Tonton there go have the opportunity to come to Liberia today to work here. Our whole system, governmental system, will come to be very polluted. So we were discussing if we had the people who are benefited from it. If we had them, then they could bring pastors to wear nothing for the corruption to move over here. Now the car reloaded coming being one of the 5.4% can be watching because that network doesn't have integrity. They lost the integrity matter because they don't even discussing. This man will have no space. Will make sure the man will fit in justice and go to
my man, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mo.
Thank you.
He got silent. I said,
Well, let me tell you, when you finish, let me tell you the color quick. You've been on the line for long, yeah. Go
ahead.
Caller from the US, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Pierre, and thanks to you all. I'm Morris calling from Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a different perspective about this whole issue. My concern is that of recent time, most of the people that get involved in the kind of case, in the kind of situation, they are one way close to our government officials and the top government officials. The last time it was Bashiru Kante, and this was a man that was friendly with the vice president. And concerning almost, Mr. Tonton Waterspoon said he's a friend of the president. He calls the president anytime. The president calls him anytime. The last time he took his crew to Liberia and he was guarded by state security. I don't know whether he paid for that or whatever arrangement. I don't know. And he said the president stayed 4 hours with his crew. So my concern is that this is something that should concern us as people that this kind of people getting involved in the kind of criminal act, they are always either close to the president or the vice president or some top government official. Is this something that anyone should be concerned about? I mean, that's just my own stuff.
Very good, very good observation and very, very good point. I mean, nobody saw it coming from that perspective, but thank you. But let me take the other caller quick. Yeah, hold on. Let me take the caller. Caller, go ahead. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah.
Moali, 1 minute coming. Caller, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you, JPR. At schools, the reason why you see all the guys on school acting like that is shame and disgrace. Look, who will be having money? We that live in this country that are working for our money, honestly, that sweating day and night working 16 hours to take people that care Hassan, they carry a point in first class hotel, spending more than $10,000 United States dollars coming on social media and breaking about it. People that kept our hand and see they can go into different. In this thing, I've been reading on through the document. This case is not a small case. Whole lot of lawsuit. Even the students, the president and people were working and got no degree. The people are paying the students. They are paying the school. And I'm not smart money. So the case is not a small case. Thank you so much. That's still discussed, but they're not discussing it.
Thank you. Mo, go ahead. Thank you.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Kelly Snarrow. I do join you from Buchanan, Grand Bassa County. The issue that you people brought to net is very, very important. So please give me a little time. Let me explain what happened to us in Bassa here, in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County, at the Cali Hospital. You don't practice on human beings. That would be a medical malpractice. The mistake you make, it will cause full damage on human beings. Okay, my brother's son, 2015, the little baby they carry in the Cali Hospital, they gave him drip. The drip cut off the ball ear. The drip cut off the ball ear. I walk after it. One Mr. Moses Jackson and the fellow they stood before me. They said they are not afraid, the Cali people. They said we are not educated. We are native people. We don't have the money to fight the case. And even when we fight the case, we'll lose it. The ball is here with me now. The first place we carry the ball to Mr. Shemo, Dr. Shemo, or surgical clinic on 20th Street. So today, anytime we go, the only thing they do us when the ball is sick, we have fever, we just get to the hospital to give medicine. So today, you brought it up. People who are unprofessional, they are not medical practitioners. When the doctor diagnoses the case, we send it to the nurse. And today, the ball is here. Anytime he and a friend they are playing, they can tell you, say, you got your court here, you will come crying to me. Over, the ball cost me or the game cost me. Tell me when the man reach the age of 20 years, if somebody say your court here, he either kill that person or do something to the person. So I thank God for you to bring the person, you kind of a topic up. I will take the ball to Mo Ali, but Mo Ali will see the ball. Your team, what's the help? The way forward. Because if finish testing up, that even when we carry the case, will be the loser. So thank God that in Liberia, the thing can happen, but it don't happen in the United States. That while the particular topic here, I will call and ask people whether it's right. Yeah, the boy here now, anytime he plays, he can be played until the time can pass by him, whether it's there, he doesn't care, you don't know. So now he's using Marvin Gaye on one side of the ear at the age of 7 years, because Dr. Shemo said we should take him back to the hospital. We're going to do the surgery on him. But anytime we tell the people, Mr. Moses Jackson say, well, these are people, you don't have the power, you don't have no money, they are native people, they are not educated. So they cause damage on human beings. If we don't know.
All right, Chief. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so. Yeah,
go ahead.
Call.
And this is Aida calling from Buchanan, Grand Bassa County.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to thank you guys very much for this. And let God bless you guys.
Okay.
For on the issue with the Spoon TV, Livingstone.
Then as Spoon TV will discussing here, we're discussing Stanton with us Spoon, the owner of Spoon TV.
Yeah, the owner of Spoon TV.
Yeah.
You see, the one they work with, the one who come with equity or come with clean hands. Now, he always on that something with, I don't know, one care, what kind of care, Mohammed, whatever he call himself. They always criticize the honest people in this country. The other time, once upon a time, Senator Dillon, that he plead ticket issue, they ran with it here. Yeah, today now, he being indicted by the FBI. You see that?
Yeah.
So these guys, he should leave that television station and face the weight of the law. He should accuse himself.
Okay.
So that's my contribution. And another thing I want to say, I want to wish our president, incoming president, Honorable Bouakai, while he in the United States, he should try his best and lobby and do his best. And you need to work. And what we hearing about that biometric, and they say that people will get passport and all the kind of things.
We'll talk about the biometric tomorrow. We'll talk about it on Monday, yeah? All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Call on the line, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Beaver up here. I thank everybody who is studio. You wanna be surprised for the platform to be overcrowded because things are happening now. Credible institutions are giving the news to our people, to all the educators. They are not men enough. So now we are looking at two media institutions that really will be listened to. Even it can be that, but we're looking at Henry Costa and we're looking at the class Reloaded because these two platforms really they can be overcrowded. And my second point is that why is it our band whosoever is dealing with the have some kind of team behind it? It is coming. Anytime you deal with somebody, they got something behind it. And you see, the other Musa Billy, they were fingering all the money. Why that one coming from? And the follower of the people, they go and discourage Joseph Waka.
Okay, sir. Thank you. DJ Lomel, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Honorable Pia. Let me say good evening to the panelists. Mr. Pia, Stanton, let me not buy muffin, but if at all he did what he did and what is streaming on the social media, I think he should face the full weight. Because like bro now try to transform with the grace of God or woman boy high, like bro transform. But the main thing that caught my attention on Rupia, I just sent you the photo registration that they decided for counties. How will you get big county like Lufa? You get 25 days. I got so many villages and towns. Like Nima, you get 25 days, you get Lufa 20 days. But now you give me Grand Crew that's small in population and the counties are not big, but you give them 31 days. These are the places that GT can start from. I think those people that own the board of the Unity Party should look at this and tell them that it will not work with us. You can't give Grand Crew 31 days for them to register. You give big county like Lufa 20 days. You give big country like Nima 25 days. Where the issue is giving a branch there.
Okay, DJ Lomel, we hear you. Thank you. We hear it. Monday we'll talk about that.
Can I take a call?
No, then let me take the last one. Come to you. Call on the line. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, student. We are that family.
Yeah, student. We are that family. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You just see me again, copy. Yeah, you student are in class on they're taking people's seats. So you have a picture. You have a picture and create space for them.
Okay.
And my point on the whole issue, there was I was saying about Barrow. Last night I was so eager to go on a platform to listen to them discussing their CEO issue. But when they asked Barrow about training issue in the country, Barrow was brave enough to say the only training issue that in the country, it was the Western cluster. Barrow, they think all the radio stations in the town carry from in the morning up to I don't know when. Then you are brave enough to kind of say that the only training issue in the country was about Western cluster, the lawmaker inviting Samuel to and what have you. That was very disingenuous on his part, seriously. Other people think so happy about them. Same time we flag that issue. Even if it requires for them to take 2-3 days to discuss that issue, they will discuss it. Then when it comes to him, you go to avoiding the issue and you're playing blank on it. So that's my point.
Thank you.
Not right at all.
Thank you. Mo, go ahead.
Thank you, caller. Go ahead. Oh, that may go off with the money finish. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mo.
Good evening. You got to increase that volume more.
Okay, are you getting me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. This is the voice of Usman Mbeke. I am the chairperson of the United Party Intellectual Response Bureau, and I'm a resident of District Number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. I listened to some of our friends that we should not try to discuss about state of Waterspoon. I think it is bad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
George Weah, Tua and other people have stealing the real people money, and they are impacting people's lives. So should we pray for them to stay in power? This is the question I'm asking.
Because my disappointment is that I'm seeing some of my best friends on social media on the opposition bloc. They're praying that now pray for Staton. For what reason? Like you guys are saying tonight, that case is very dangerous for Staton. I don't think we're going to survive it. You guys have the audacity to discuss JMB on that platform day and night. So we should not discuss about them. I have no support for criminal. That is a fact. So anything you want to say, let us say it. Nobody's going to pray for them. If they want to pray for them, let them pray.
All right, Chief. Thank you. Let me take this one. Hello there, caller. Go ahead. Hello? Hello, caller. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Senior Comrade Pia. My name is Noah Zawu Gibson. And I'm phoning as usual from Jagadan District number 2. To be honest, no one will pray for evil to anybody. And as Senior Comrade Pia and the rest of us are saying, we are not rendering him guilty in the eyes of our public opinion. We pray that the legal system goes through, in America, and he get his day in court. But, they say monkey can leave a black hand behind, as we can see in Liberia. This man did the same fake opinion poll one time, and that opinion poll, the stage managed it. Cummins came second to JMB, and they say if he Cummins be president, we are low. No matter how dismally President we are is performing, many of us here we do not support President we will never support him. But no opinion poll in this country you can do here for coming to be President we are. That was only on Stanton's platform, the very first stand for coming to be President we are. In fact, they meant for coming to be JMB, but they did it all kind of way, but it didn't happen. It came close to JMB in their voice. They created a fake platform, online platform. It was that online platform coming be JMB and President we are. Only coming people knew how to vote on our platform. Only they knew the link there. And let me conclude on this note. Look, Stephen, you said something that made my day. My man, power soul needs power medicine. You're ensured that that picture of JMB is placed on our poll. When they tamper with it, we must tamper with President we are into. This country here, the election going to there, no diplomacy. CDC, they are uncivilized people. They're not intellectualism will win the election for us. I agree intellectualism will play a role in some instances, but in most of it, it should be radicalism. That's why I let Jeremy Piapo. I love the way this new brother can talk. And that's why I will support him to the end. And I pray that he must be talking about aspiring for the legislature or some national position.
The men are running you.
Very soon. No, I'm not saying now. I mean very soon.
Okay.
After the election or other subsequent election.
All right, Noah.
Yeah. Just give me 10 seconds.
Okay, take 10 seconds.
Just give me 10 seconds quick. Let me say this. Look, I had a dream last night to tell you how radical the election will be. I had a dream last night. I was holding gun in my dream. And if you know what it means for a visual impairment to hold gun, you might know that it's not a small thing coming here. If they will call me to turn right or in the election, I will turn right. I mean it. We got to save this country. Thank you.
All right, Noah, please reach on Rapia. Go ahead.
Call on the line. Go ahead.
Okay, good. This is Kenneth calling you from Seattle, Washington. There are a lot of messages that we always say as Iberian we say, God will handle it, God will handle it. I think the United States of America, God is using America to rescue Liberia from corruption, from liars, from a lot of fake behavior. I see a lot of people when they work in America and they are so greedy to go back home to maintain power, they try to do a lot of stuff into the people country and they run back home. And now America now is coming after them, disclosing all of the people and we're not taking it for seriousness. That Ocasio is gone. Today is our brother, who of course he and myself should be in the same age. And then I see one other guy in Liberia that they say he worked for some big factory over here for many years and he's a veteran here. This guy who has never done anything into that country but went back in with a lot of money and saying that he have to be president, and people there supporting him, I can say, hey, tomorrow God going to disclose our other God to elaborate people. That is my message. Thank you.
Caller on the line, go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Villa, how you doing, man? This is Waldo. Thanks for taking my call, bro. Oh, gentlemen, I enjoyed the show tonight, and I want to say this. I don't think Stanton fully appreciates the gravity of the issue at hand. I mean, if I were him, I would keep totally quiet. But I just want to say one thing. I want us to learn from this moment as Liberians. The Americans attach a higher degree, a substantially higher degree of punitive damages when you commit a crime against the people. And we Liberians have to learn about it. See the fear in this country for Stanton, and I hope that fear can come to Liberia when somebody steals from the people, when somebody disadvantages the people in Liberia. We have to attach this to our country as well. The issue of law enforcement has to be a serious issue. We can't completely cavalier about this. And before I hang up, I want to share this to my people in Grand Bassa County. They are bleed as I've been saying here, you on here. I hope the bus will get number one. Thank you so much,
The great Dualo.
The great Dualo.
Let me tell you a call. Abdullah Mame, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, exactly. He the one I wanted to talk about.
The rest of the people who also know good evening.
Yes, sir.
So I listened to Moon when he was talking about one of the training issues, and then he said the Senate made a decision so the MOU for the Western Cluster. I've been following the issue. We've made significant headways here in the U.S. in the international development cycles, especially with natural resource institutions. So we are interested in doing more about what the cancellation of the MOU did, because the MOU had an objective. If you cancel the MOU and the objective is not reversed, then canceling the MOU is nothing. The MOU had a clear objective. That objective was to allow Western Cluster begin the exploitation of iron ore without meeting the preconditions. What are some of those preconditions? One, Western Cluster is supposed to present to the government of Liberia a letter of credit, value certain amount of money that the government will owe and deposit, so that just in case there is any environmental problem as a result of their operation, the government will withdraw on that money to solve the problem rather than waiting for Western Cluster. That's one of the preconditions. The second precondition is Western Cluster needed to do a job plan. How much people how many persons should we employ, at what time, at what rate, that schedule. First year, second year, third year number of jobs. Another requirement was project linkages plan. How will Western Cluster, it's a document that has to be approved by the government. How will Western Cluster operate small businesses to its operation so that these businesses can be able to thrive even in the absence of Western Cluster? A whole lot is over 33 different requirements that Western Cluster is supposed to have met before the license issued Western Cluster. Western Cluster did not meet those conditions, and the reason why the administration did not issue the production license. The MOU said Western Cluster, the government, the Western Cluster production license, even before Western Cluster became it. So there is no requirement in the MOU for Western Cluster to meet to have a production license. Western Cluster already has a production license. Western Cluster is already producing iron. So canceling the MOU while allowing Western Cluster to opt out doesn't solve any problem. So we're interested in knowing the cancellation. Does it start the operation and ensure that Western Cluster meets all those conditions before she can resume operation, or the just cancel the MOU?
So, Abdullah, let me answer that question quickly from what I understood. The iron ore exploration or the export Western Cluster is currently doing is on the strength of that MOU. So if the Senate nullifies the MOU, then it means that Western Cluster should cease operation until everything can be done rightly. That's what I understand.
Okay, that's your understanding, but that's something I think we all need to be concerned about, and we all need to investigate.
I think Senator Dillon, if he listens to this program, he can come on before we end. They are there. They don't want to say they notify MOU, they did this. Maybe he can come on and say something about it. Or Monday, he can come on here and say something about it. But good point, Amula. You missed a good point. I hope Senator Dillon is listening and other actors are listening. You raised critical issues that we need answers to. Thank you.
Let me take this caller. Hello, caller. Caller, go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead.
I'm Ibrahim Kalen calling from Riverside County.
Oh, great. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm here to discuss criminal. I only there the groundbreaking that CDC carry on today in Riverside County.
What kind of groundbreaking?
They say they're putting quota from Swanwing, they call the place welcome to 2 kilometer rule. They say they're putting quota there because they want to see again.
Is it CDC that is putting the quota or the government?
The government. The government.
So something wrong with that?
Yeah, it was counter argument today. So the youth say they will not agree. That will not encourage them to vote them because they are far.
Oh, okay. All right, Chief. Thank you. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Brother Pia.
Yeah, good afternoon to Brother Pia. Good evening to me. Go ahead.
Okay. Cabinet Savannah, and I do call from Clarendon tonight, a member of CYM. Our goal is to make George Weah a one-term president.
All right.
Senator Waterspoon, they kind of situation in fine. So the guy knew that how corrupt he was. Then he was here all of the time on his show, castigating other people that the leg of the late Daniel Incasio. And then he was also used to be on his show, putting more on a reputable pressing leg, Ambassador Joseph Numa Baka. No, the god of Ambassador Joseph Numa Baka is still alive. And this god of Ambassador Numa Baka will continue to beat upon everybody who are hatred to him. Long live Ome Baka. Long live Ome Baka.
Thank you.
All of their property will see it, and that will lead to a disaster.
You American government? You the American government?
Yeah. In fact, I even want that sanction to go beyond a unborn generation.
Oh, my man, thank you. Bye-bye. Let me take the one Pierre. Go ahead, caller. Hello. Hello, you have to listen to the phone. Hello? Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Achi Pakistan. I'm from for Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you guys for the interesting program tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to the other time, I listened to Snow on show. When you read the portion of the first message, and Joseph Baga said, yeah, you George Weah to disgrace him.
Yeah, check the message.
God will pay you. So I'm going to complain that all those that are more honorable brother for a targeted issue, God will weed them out before Joseph Baga become president. Even the president of the guy in the United States, everything they do there, reduce our state. Imagine as sophisticated as America is, if Satan, they be caught in an act. Why in case that guy was in Liberia, into our employment, into our governmental sector, with our post energy.
All right, Chief. Thank you.
So we wish him well, but let justice be done.
All right, thank you. Pia, go ahead.
Caller on the line, go ahead.
Hello, Minister Pia, how you doing?
I'm okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to say this to my Liberian people, right? The interest they're taking so much, all the energy they're taking to be praying for people who robbing them of their life in Liberia. I just want to tell them that this time around, their prayer and their whatever will not be answered by God. Because no matter what kind of prayer they do for Staunton or whosoever that were involved with corrupt attitude in America, They can ask Prophet Muhammad, Jesus Christ, Allah, everything on this country will deal with you when you are wrong. So let them go ahead and be praying for Samuel 12 and John. We are them who looted our country on an industrial scale. And I don't know whether they realize God is not answering them because this time around Joseph Baka will beat them flat. That's my contribution. So let them stop wasting their time on prayer for one people. American system will not forget.
Okay, thank you very much. Mo, you got a call?
Yes, I do. I have a call. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening. My name is Carol Answa. I call from Bokolu tonight.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much for the show. It's just that I'm feeling bad because the people in Bapolu, they cannot listen to the class reloaded because they don't have a radio station that can relay the program. So I went to one Atari shop and then I started discussing the class reader. The lady was kind of asking me, who has the program? So I told her, but you are not aware of the class reloaded. She said, no, we don't know the program you're talking about. So I'm only appealing to you people that you should please find one radio station that can relay the program so that all of you can know what's happening in Joseph Baka camp and what's happening in Liberia. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you. Go ahead, other don't start caller. You need to listen to the phone and not the device.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
I'm Amanda Bowen calling from New Church.
Go ahead.
We thank God for the American government for such an action. You know, spoon was intended to create.
You need to load the device. Lower the volume of the device behind you.
So we thank God for what God has done. And I want to say to the group and those flag reloaders, they should be very vigilant because there are a lot of force who the government wants to use to claim power. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, now you can go ahead now.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, this is Samantha again. I want to get all the glory this evening again for the book that he's doing for us. When I talk of this man this afternoon again, I start giving God the praises because if this are going to be in Liberia, where we can just take Bravo any minute. You know how many persons they were going to kill? And we just go free and we were not in America. We were not even knowing what's going on. Suppose you are going to carry the school in Liberia and get people sick and dying as he did in America. You are just going to stop for nothing. I got my niece who went to get last month, December month, and the nice getting little girl on injection because of placenta couldn't come. That injection. Get the leg get your football big until the boss. Yeah, they know they did there. So I say thank you to Jesus Christ. We will just start this issue until everybody in the interior will hear it. Thank you.
Okay. Oh my God. Mo, you got call up ticket?
No, not yet.
Okay, then let me do the UK God justice. Calling from where UK is difficult, so I need let me do you a favor.
Okay, why are you getting it? Let me take this call. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, go ahead.
Yeah, this is exactly.
You got to increase your volume.
Yeah, I'm exactly on Morris's Mountain. The thing you are discussing is so interesting, but we can't hear it up from yesterday to now. We can't hear it on Spoon Radio, and this is injustice for the people. But however, that Boga God saying the people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead if you got your caller.
Yeah, let me take the man out from UK. Go ahead, so you on the line.
Okay, Mr. Pierre, thank you. Thanks to all the panelists. Mr. Pierre, you know Abby?
No, sir.
Hello?
No, I don't know what happened.
Class reloader need to add on more because more this on our network because now school network so only 1K view. So they losing already. So our platform must be prepared to stand whatsoever will come in. And one of the things I'm thinking about now is God can bless anybody on Sunday. How that one going to come on now? God can bless anybody on a Sunday. You know, Mr. Pia, when you discuss with people, you must be very careful. That old man, Joseph Nima Baka, is a blessed old man. God bless him. God bless him. Whosoever you try to bring him down, God will bring you down. That old man is a God sent to deliver that country for evil, for the corrupt people. So whosoever you plan to draw him down, you will go down before him. This is why God has exposed this young man. Mr. Pia, let me tell you, my brother. One time I called Central Women's School and I asked him, I said, why you always discuss Joseph Nima Baka? He said, it's a politics. I said, no, this is not politics. I said, you sit there, man, the Kev Hassan will call that old man, tell him he was not born by a man. I said, these people, you should respect the old man. They may have served the way he's not called up, and we want him. So you have to be careful with your brother. So thank God, God have exposed him. Whosoever that pray for him, say, God will say, white people can't just catch you when you not do nothing. They catch you when you do something. And my last one is more. When the Johnson you talk about, the set you talk about, when is it due? You please tell me, then I'll be able to do my own contribution. Thank
March.
you.
March.
Okay, he said March. He said March, yeah.
Okay, when in March?
The second week in March is the tournament.
Second week in March is the tournament. So you first week.
Yeah, because myself, I am from police academy. I left police academy. I went to police academy. So you are our incoming representative. So I will contribute.
Okay, thank you.
I promise you one set.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, sir.
I got a number more. I'll give it to you. Caller from Minnesota. Go ahead. Hold on. You're not. I gotta find a way to put you on. Just hold on. Hold it down. I gotta put you on. I gotta put you on. How do they call it? I gotta put you on the volume, but I don't want to cut this thing. Okay. Now you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, my name is Michael Harris, and I call from Minnesota. And related to this Stanton water sport issue, like Billy was saying, I watched the show, portion of that show last night, and when they started, they were like doing training the issue. The appointment, moreover, and Stanton Waters want to begin, where his name, good day, Flomo, wedding training, what making the news. They talk about Western Closet, they talk about, I didn't have Martin case with the Supreme Court ruling. For them, that wasn't new. They didn't talk anything about that. And then when he came on, he said they came and asked him, you're going to speak for 5 minutes. He came on, he spoke. And then he said he could not talk the duty of the case because his lawyer has advised him not to do so. Then I wondered, I said, do you now know that people are supposed to observe this legal norm when they are into legal proceeding? How come? Because I recall when Joe Barker was subpoenaed by the court to testify in the CPU from a document case, all of you on your platform, the Ben Sanvi, the Timothy Joy, the Dr. Richardson, the Dr. Peabody, including Stanton himself, they all said it was wrong for Joe Barker to have gone over to testify. They were telling him that it was right for a statement to disobey the court. Then how can you, Mr. Witherspoon, now, you're telling us that a lawyer says you should not speak, so you don't want to speak. I thought you said it's wrong, it was okay for you to disobey the court. How come? Because it's in America or because it affects you? So they just show the credibility of these people. I mean, they just do things in their own interest. They sit over there. I mean, once they have to do anything against United Party, he runs away. But all the people over there last night, they were like, for them, that nothing has happened. They would not mention anything about it. And I just go on well exposing it. Even if man, good from
when they recently Joseph Lehman Bowie talk about Joe Biden should retire, you're all on Facebook. Lehman Bowie too. The party zero. Okay, we'll keep the school for now. We'll return. Why you see why you not updated with the school? Let him go back and Facebook and start writing. Thank you all so much for the time.
Thank you.
All right, Pia, can I take a call?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
show
caller.
on fire tonight.
Bako.
Yeah, thank God to all my children in class.
Go ahead.
Play we all.
Okay.
Thank God so much for you all. Let God multiply the blessing.
Amen.
To be open for we all to see the inauguration of our former president taking care of the nation to prosecute all the role. You see, he left more fear. Everyone is, he must serve your God. Now God pity their soul. Now God pity them. And I in sympathy with Mr. Spoon. Mr. Spoon, somebody from the secretary of the United Party. In fact, they was said, breaking you. They want to put more cost. But you see, there is very penalty. It costs the owner too much. Yeah, they can pretend when you say breaking news, they were chaos and they start the screens, good, competent, human being like the former power president, all of them laughing, kaka. Then they say they're breaking news now. Who wanted for Dana, who wanted for ANC, who wanted for Kiasa. Yeah, that's what the program called PG.
Thank you, Bako.
Yeah, that's called good.
Bako,
Thank you.
Steve, I don't know how many calls, but I can take 2 more after this.
Yeah.
Now,
Play 2 more. Go almost 3 hours, man.
Yeah, Pia, if you get a call, you can go ahead.
Call on now, go ahead.
Thank you for the program. My name is Prince. I'm Jacobs. I'm calling from Indianapolis. I just want to appeal to you guys if you guys can increase the day instead of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you guys, I know everybody is busy, but this is the sacrifice you guys doing, and we appreciate it. So if you guys can have maybe 1 more or 2 more days to it, then I think that would be good. I appreciate everything you guys do. I'm listening. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller, yes, go ahead. This will be my second to last call. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
Good evening. Go ahead.
I want to say hi to the class reloaded tonight. We all have monitoring from Liberia. And precisely, I'm monitoring from Buchanan, Grand Bassa County.
Yeah.
I'm James David calling this evening.
And
I want to say thank you very much for the program. That guy who are being indicted by the American government. They are giving a whole lot of doctors degrees that I can't believe they destroy people. Let me give you the information last week ago at the government hospital in Buchanan here. A friend of mine, father went on an operation. When they were in the operational room, the generator cut up and the old man died just last week. And then as we learn, the people have given 200,000 United States dollars to build everything in Buchanan. Why can't they take this money to buy generator so that they save people's lives? The old man children now, they are weeping. The daddy is now at Dakota. The woman died on operation. The one is operation. So these things are being something that how people go in America, they just bring fake documents and then they say they are doctors and then killing people in Liberia. So thank you for the program. We are the class reloaded. We'll be there. We are waiting, and now we are waiting for you people because you say I'm going to come so that I'm a good member of the other party. Africa, I have my Africa since 2005.
Thank you, boss.
They method something they say they are coming to do. We're waiting for all the come so that we can screen to follow this program because we don't want to be cheated.
Thank you
very much for the program.
Thank you. Pia, until I can get a call, you can go ahead.
Call on the line, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
All right, my name is Mr. Harris, calling from California. Firstly, I want to say thanks to every one of you guys for the work. Secondly, I think what happened on Saturday is not, I know it's something that happened and people have been affected. especially those that have credentials for an institution, especially these tech stuff, and they're going to come after them. But moreover, everyone, a lot of people being affected, and moreover, this is not specific about anybody being like Joseph Waka or Joria, because I think if you go on each and every platform, everyone is jubilating because one have people saying, oh, people want Joseph Waka, people want Joria, people want so. Because the issue is that we don't have the jubilee, we just have to look forward to see the outcome of it. I know 100% like if statistically you're looking at 15 or 40%, you know, it's already happening to me and you're going to fall on inside. Let me just say the Liberian way. Because the people that they don't just bring autism, they dig until even people that are who all work together in the same hospital, they have the same degree. But the issue is that we don't have to say, oh, because they didn't do Joseph Waka or Joseph Waka, this is why. Then, you know, catch up. No, it's not that. As a critic, Spoon TV, they focus on everything that happening in our country. So it's not just one person. So we don't have a Julie because of Joseph Waka. 24/7, I don't love to see people jumping or dancing, they happy because of what happened. So, you know, I just try to say it was not just one person, Spoon TV to focus on. And as a critic, you have to be able to have a clean game. So, you know.
Thank you. Call now, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pierre. My name is Thomas. I'm calling from North Carolina.
Make your point.
The first thing is, I think you all need to start either renting a building or building new classrooms. The second thing is, I think we need to plan for the ONU student game. But quickly to the issue, I think as Liberians, we should all be angry with one of us who has done something that is going to have an impact on all of us. Like Stephen was saying, the nursing fee is one fee when people leave from Liberia. You see people who leave from Liberia with different careers. They come to this country, and because of the demand in that fee, they migrate to that fee. And when you have a Liberian doing this kind of issue or committing this kind of crime, it will put all of them under the spotlight, whether they went to his university or his network. So I think we should all be angry. Rather than say, let's pray for the man and look at the good that he's doing back home, I think we should start to evaluate people's goodness on the source of their income. If you have a questionable income, regardless of whether you build our country into a 21st century country, we should condemn you for what you do. So I think to say, let's pray for Stanton, let's pray for him, is one of those things we normally say that the Liberian people can give go hard time. This is not time to be praying for people who commit crime.
Awesome.
And their impact on our election, trying to influence the election.
Thank
I
you.
think this is something we should all condemn highly.
Thank you. Mo, go ahead.
Yeah, let me take my last caller. Hello, caller. Good evening. Go ahead.
Conspiring to go back. That fellow that just left for only land that called from America. He don't see all the laws that Ken Hassan and can be lying on the media. You think the radio station should be able to promote falsehood?
But what the caller from America said? What the caller from America said?
About the opposition. Thank you.
Steven, I will do it from my end.
Okay, and then Musu, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say the issue people most particularly for play. You know, that Liberian that doing those things. And they'll give from Kiasa that we are going to wellness school. Some of those licenses, nobody they have to find where the government, the incoming government, we have to, Christian has some of the people that will be coming to want to be on license and things. They are talking about this because who is nursing school side in Liberia not correct. Because the people are so backward back there, so the people calling license doctor, they calling lab technician doctor, and you just
prescribing medication for those people, and they had no idea, giving the people the wrong medication. That most people die in Liberia because it's depending on those niceties and things. So my thing is, we have to pay attention because the health care system is not somewhere for everybody to just go and play. The human life they are dealing with. They are human lives. And I hope the US government will be able to block all those fake niceties that they put on. We'll be able to block them out. So we'll be able to know some of them because we know Liberians among them, Ghanaians, Ivorians, all nationalities, and Americans and all among them.
Oh, thank you.
So they can go to Liberia and now our people buy there and kill them.
Thank you.
This thing is very serious. Very serious.
Thank you. Caller on the line, go ahead.
Yeah, I should go ahead now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good evening. I'm calling from the Charlotte, North Carolina. My name is Augustus. So, Pia, I got a question. You see, we Liberians, we are so, I don't know, the hypocrisy is too much in us. What's the difference between Liberian that came to America, lied to immigration, got the paperwork done, and speaking on Stephen Weatherspoon case today? It's the same thing. Lying to the system, not because we have some Liberian that came there and lied on the paperwork, having been caught by the immigration, so they make them better than Stephen Weatherspoon.
Don't talk something that don't make sense. Look, they have not indicted them for anything. So how will you be doing hypothetical? No, hold on.
How you know the lie?
How do you know the lie, you immigration officer? If Mr. Weatherspoon was not indicted, nobody will be talking about him. So the people you're talking about, nobody has indicted them. So the hypothetical, you don't have a case against them. So that's not right.
So how you know?
Oh, even right.
You know that
so they can talk about when somebody indicted, they can talk about it. Is that a right issue? Close your mouth and get up from the place, man.
Look at that, man. But how you know the people lie? For you to know the people lie, you know what? You know the truth. Why you know the truth is?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
All right, so I'll just be very brief.
All these men in America, they dumb the head.
Stephen Weatherspoon committed a thing that was not a crime to pray for him. In this case, Stephen Weatherspoon is likely committed a crime. When we pray for God forgive him, God will forgive him, but the state will punish him for the crimes committed against humanity. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What kind of funny man?
See, you don't waste your time on that man. I will try to give you this. When you join hypothetical, you say poking a loud immigration case. So who prosecuting them?
But how you know the lie?
Who had discussed Mr. Weatherspoon until his indictment?
Nobody.
If Mr. Weatherspoon was not indicted for Sonny, will anybody discussing?
No.
So if you don't have a stuff to say, don't call and put blanket allegation that people kill loud immigration, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you lie on immigration. Maybe that's how you got here.
Exactly.
No. You know, it is unfortunate.
Musu said, I pay agent. I won't pay agent. I pray.
Nonsense. People call to participate. You can't call to distract the people to talk nonsense.
But you do well to keep it on.
To be honest, you want to spay, we'll give it to you. But when you're talking nonsense, obviously, then we'll put you in your place. That's it.
Yeah. But Ali is sticky.
Ali, you there?
In Miami.
Ali, it's stuck the right time. Yeah.
I think we should end it there.
Yeah. Let end it there because I have to run. Guys, it was a great show. Thanks to you all for coming. The issue we discussed today is trending. We'll pay attention. There are lots of news coming. So Pastor Mo, Pia, Ali, I want you guys to pay particular attention to the news, listening to what is happening, pay attention to your surroundings.
Okay, Stevie, let me get to the last call then we'll do that. Go ahead.
My name is Eugene Solomon Pierre, aka the Councilman, 48 from Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
So the issue, you guys have been doing well. I appreciate the issue on the discussion. It's very important. It's fair enough for everybody to discuss everything that goes on in this country. Stephen Weatherspoon's a good guy, but he's not a senator for any issue to be discussed. This guy discusses everybody, everything. In Liberia, in the U.S., everywhere. So it's just fair enough to discuss the issue. I think they are doing disservice to their own network, but not discussing the issue. There are a lot of things that he does that we appreciate. But by doing good in life does not mean you should be criminal in that behavior. That does not send a good message to our young people. And with the caller that just called from North Carolina, I think that brother is confused. He think we're trying to bring resettlement gate into this country, and we are not doing that. Because resettlement gate is that you're trying to litigate all the cases that deal concerning America and how people come to America. Find a place to sit down, my brother. It's time to discuss serious issue. When anybody commit crime, we discuss it, and that's fair enough. Thank you.
All right.
Is that Dapo?
No, not Dapo. The person, the last caller is my biological junior brother. So when I told Stevie I had to take this call, is because we're ending, and he's an ardent follower of the show.
Yeah, somebody been calling me. One of my man won't participate. I told you to call you. I know what you will call. I can't take calls on my phone.
What number? What the person comes from missed calls? So what the person
if you're watching the show, the number is on the show. I don't know what he's not seeing it. The number is on the show. The number is on the show if you're watching. Yeah, he said you'll call next time. He wanted to call. The number on the show, if you're watching, is the 401 number. But I mean, it's been a good show. Well, thankfully, Ali came on to take our course locally. I know the internet situation. Let me announce also that Tupor could not be on. He asked for excuse. He needed to run after some personal stuff. He will be on, hopefully, God's willing, on Monday. We'll continue to pay attention to this topic. This is a trending topic. It's evergreen. There will be new developments. Between now and Monday, we'll pay attention. We'll bring you some updates once we get them on Monday. We're hoping on Monday to have Ali. What's his name?
Sylvester Lama.
No.
We have Dr. Sakwi
Marapa.
Yeah, Dr. Sakwi Marapa. He wrote the book From Wasonga to the Capital. That's it, right?
Yep.
What's about Sylvester?
Somebody Granny. More only
Sylvester
will call in.
Sylvester will call in.
Come as a guest. Our guest.
So we'll get Dr. Marapa.
So Stevie, I sent you a text the other day. I emailed us for the purpose of the link.
Yeah, I'll send a link to it.
He will join us exactly 4 o'clock. So the reason why we arranged that, we don't want to waste the time on your training issue. By the time you come on 4 o'clock, it means you finish with training issue, all that kind of stuff, and just go into the program. Whenever he's done, he leaves, and we can continue because he will not stay throughout.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, I will send the link on Monday. Yeah, Josh Lobo will be having the drive by 8 p.m. After this show. So if you're watching, get ready to switch to the drive. I know it'll be hard too. These are hot topics, and it's been a great show. I'd like to say thanks to everybody who joined us. The class was on fire today. We got a lot of new students. Hopefully they can stay. The class is your home. You're welcome here. All we do here is to just report the news. We have no malice against anybody. We have no interest in the downfall of anybody. Even we don't hate we just love Liberia more. That's all. So we don't come here with the intent to bring anybody down or to speak negative or ill will against anybody. This is why we don't discuss nobody here besides the government. But when your issue becomes a topical issue, we are under obligation to discuss it. So once the issues become topical, we are under obligation to discuss them. We have no ill will, no malice against nobody. We just doing what's right for our country and for the future of our children's and children's children, and so that posterity will judge us in ways that are favorable. Today has been a wonderful show. Let me say a big thank you to Muhammad Ali, who joined us all the way there from Miami in Monrovia. Pastor Mo, Pia, your parting comments, a minute each, so that we can wrap this thing. We're going 3 hours, 13 minutes already, so it's been a great show. So, Pastor Mo, let me begin with Ali, since he's in Liberia, before we lose him. Ali, Pastor Mo, and then Pia.
Thank you, Stephen. I had to join the show back from Lone Star phone, and I was thinking somebody was still calling it to tell me they want to take part on the show when I'm viewing the show from when I'm on the show from the phone. But let me say it was a great discussion, and that, like you said, we have no malice against anyone. We are simply discussing issues here, and we are discussing them objectively like they should be. If any of us is engaged into such issue, I'm sure we will discuss it. I remember one night here when Delone voted for that pension thing. We really gave in here on the show, and we were clear that we didn't agree with it. We expressed our opinion on it, and so we have the right, just as we sit to criticize each other. Other people too have the right to criticize us when we go wrong. And in the case of Stanton, we believe the law will take its course. Thank God, every one of you believe in the justice system in the U.S. I know every justice system has its own flaw, but they will do their best to ensure that they have the best lawyers and that justice will be dispensed. If they are guilty, well, they will face the penalty. If they are not guilty, I'm sure Stanton and the others, if they are found not guilty, they will have a very huge case against the United States government. I want to say thank you to all of the callers and our participants. The class reloaded will be back on Monday. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Pierre and Rainbow.
Thank you, Ali, and enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there, and we'll see soon. I got to be in town to register to vote. So hopefully we'll see soon. So we can. Now let me tell you something. Ali and myself been friends for for over almost 30 years, and yeah, that's how But a lot of people don't know. I've been knowing Ali over 30 years. We went to high school together. We even lived together during the war. Ali and I lived together. We used to, the fun. We used to, so because the food business used to be hard. Let me share this joke. Food business used to be hard. We had one of our men. He's in this government, St. Collins. He worked with defense, one of the ministers there. Sam will go to a horse to eat food, right? When he finish eating food to her, then he will come to our house to come lecture so that our own food. When our own food, so he will eat it. So that way he eating both foods. So what me and Ali will do is when we get the rice to cook, we'll not cook it to the house. We'll corner the bullet, we'll creep under the bullet, we'll go all the way down the hole in the room. We'll lift the rug off in the room. We'll let it go by in the room.
And cook the
rice in the room. So if you cook the rice in the room, we'll eat there too. Then we'll cut up the hill, we'll cut butter, we'll hit to the other just let you. Man, the wartime had people do all kind of crazy stuff. But I mean, those were good old days. It was fun. So that's how much that's how long I've been doing. Come a long way. So Ali, yeah, possible. You muted.
It has been a very wonderful show tonight, discussing trending issues. And as the issues continue to unfold, we'll continue to discuss it. And Joseph Boakai will have been discussed for about a year. He didn't have a problem with it. And he went to court. He was discussed. He was seen as the person who filed in the case. And so if you don't want to listen to the training issues, you don't have to be here. But before we come to discuss issues, we listen to news, we read newspaper, and we come to you. We are not dwelling on gossip. We are dwelling on the facts, and we discuss the facts. So like our brother Stephen said, information will be posted on the class reload pages. You all can go and read it for yourself. But the show would not have been better with all you in Radio Land and you on Facebook. It is because of you all we are here every day. Right now, I'm at work. But I work at the same time, I'm on the show. It is because we have to do it for Liberia. We want to see Liberia leave from where it is. We are not being paid by anybody on this panel, but we are being paid by ourselves. We go to work. The other day I was listening to Steve. Steve was in the train starting the show.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? He was in the train. That's the obligation. He was in. He said, "My man, I'm in the train, but I will just start. And y'all didn't want to get home." And he gets home, no time to find food to eat, no time to sit with your family. Immediately he come on this platform. Honorable Pia, he have to be in the back at the same time cooking for his family while his wife is at work. That's the obligation. It tells you that none of us being paid by anybody yet, but we owe it to Mama Liberia. We want to see Liberia leave from where it is. And I say to you all, this 2023, we're going to be in Liberia. I will be in Liberia by the grace of God to make my own case for our presidential candidate, that is Honorable Joe Boyka. Also, don't forget, those of you in District 5, vote for Mo Ali. There will come a time we tell Mo Ali, bring your case, explain to the people why District 5 should vote for you, and Mo Ali will make the case. All of you out there, any means you able to support Mo Ali, any means you able to support Mo Ali as a valiant to be a representative, supporting through any means, he will accept it. Thank you very much. You all have a wonderful weekend, and you all stay blessed. See you on Monday.
Thank you, Pastor Mo. Pia. So, yeah.
So all of us who are trying to do media, whether we are conventional journalists, mainstream journalists, or political commentators, we owe the public one thing: bring the information to them as they unfold. It is a real disrespect and dishonesty to the core when you are a media outlet and we choose to downplay a particular happening because it is not to your taste and liking. That's evil. Just as somebody checking in the hospital is considered an issue that must be brought to a media platform, just as someone having just an ordinary issue with somebody who is their friend, it's important to be brought to a platform. Just as Dr. Cassell's issue, peace be to his ashes, I intend, if God gives me life tomorrow, to attend his funeral. Just as his issue was discussed, so it is with any of us. So we come talking about this big hell of a news of this indictment for FBI, not necessarily on account of dislike or hate for the individual Liberian citizen who is at the center of it, but because it's news in the public space that should be talked about. And for those of you who can just countenance that, and you call it on show, digging into how people came to America, they made false claims to get status here with immigration. You got all these facts. Put your documentation together and submit it to the authorities in America so they can persecute them. Until you do that, it's a stupid assumption. And that's not the way you defend somebody. Because you don't say something that when you push down to prove it, you can't prove it. What I mean, they're talking about something that deployed over 7,600 unqualified people in the healthcare system. Something that generated 114 million. And why you got to compare with whether somebody lied to to obtain immigration status? When people apply for immigration status, there are processes. If the people do those processes and are convinced that the person qualified and grant that person the status to live here, who are you to come and throw tantrums at them because you want to defend somebody? Nobody has said Mr. Witherspoon is guilty of anything. Fortunately, Mr. Witherspoon is in America, not in Africa where your judicial system don't work. Where he is, the system works. If he's innocent, he'll be acquitted.
Exactly.
If he's not innocent, he'll be found guilty. And he knows that the system works. Then we all should look forward to that process. And I, as a Liberian, I'll be happy if in the end, there's a verdict that says everything said about Mr. Witherspoon is false, and he's acquitted. So don't have so much thin skin that, you can't stand people discussing what you favor. We got to have an open mind. The very Witherspoon you're talking about. The one caller was saying, maybe a lot of people don't like him. Why? He's a political person. He's discussing everybody. Everybody. Just as he's free to discuss all these people he discussed on his platform, when something concerns him, so too people will be in a position to discuss, not because they hate him, but because he made news, and that news that he made has to be discussed. And it is from that perspective we come. I may know people who Witherspoon are being helpful to. He gave a lot of people money. He's doing a great job with that. But is that a substitute for crime? No. So as he's been accused for an alleged crime, which we've talked about now, let's see how the process unfolds. What I said to him from the beginning as a Liberian, I want to end the same way. If I'm Witherspoon, let him not try to adjudicate his case in a court of public opinion, thinking that he has something to prove to the public and therefore he must come out and be on talk show, be talking politics, be talking this, be talking that, on an indictment, on an investigation, on a persecution. If you do that, you could just as much say something that will hurt you in the long run. The best thing you can do now, all the people say they want to pray for you. Yeah, it's not an issue. You just need to focus on whatever you're doing now to keep gaining daily bread and supporting your family. Stay in the quietude of your family, you, your wife, and your children. They should be talking together in supplication. Disengage from all these things, and let the lawyer do the rest. And in the end, if you are acquitted, hallelujah. If you are not acquitted, it means it is established that you committed a crime, and you simply be undertaking the penalty thereof. It's a good show. Thank you. We have to go.
Yeah, that's a great advice. Yeah, I mean, it's a great advice because that's the that's all you can do. Let your lawyer do the talking. Stay in the background. This case is not between you and the Liberian people. You owe no explanation. You owe the courts explanation. So keep your explanation for the courts. Speak through your lawyer. Avoid the public spectacle on trying to convince Liberians that you are innocent. If you are innocent, the law will decide. As one of the chairman of the CPP always say, the law is the law. The law is the law. Musa Berete made that case, that phrase popular. The law is the law. But I also believe that we did great justice to this topic. We spoke about it in length. We talk about the merits and demerits. We also talk about the consequences. You're looking at 20 years imprisonment if you're found guilty. 20 years is no joke. You're talking 2 decades. Those are by the time you come up, you could witness the rebirth of Liberia. Obama would have been president in 6 years and left, a lot of things will happen. So we can only wish everybody the best. And I like to tell people something. When stuff like this happen, most of the times we tend to want to stand with the perpetrator than standing with the victims. For us, we stand with the victims. They are the ones who have been victimized by such irresponsible action. There are families, thousands of families crying for medical malpractices. Some of them lost their kids. Some children are born with several dysfunctional biological, stuff, all because of medical reason. You don't even know that maybe some of these very same nurses who obtain these connoisseur credentials have been involved, giving people drugs, taking care of families. So we stand with the victims. They are the ones who we should stand with. If we want to offer prayer, our prayers should be for those who are the victims. Quite too often we forget and think that those who are the person or those who are the perpetrators, we think most time they are the victim, they are the one who we should pray for. No, our prayer should be towards those who, because of the actions of others, have led to many negative consequences in their life. It's been a great show. As always, I'd like to thank my friend and brother, Jabulani Pia, who knew that 10 years later we'll be on show together to him, talking politics, Pastor Mo. Whoever thought our path would cross, be talking on politics. This is all fate, life has many twists and turns, events that could lead to some of these. When we enter LDP, I know I was in your comedy. We used to go stand on the Palawa Hall to listen to the great Fidel Castro. He was a tough talking student leader who entered university as young men and women. We used to go listen to Pia. Today we are here on a show talking politics together, talking about our country. I think it's good. And the reason we're free to have this conversation is we're not perfect people. Nobody claims perfection. But at least when we had a chance to work for our country, when we had a chance to serve our nation, we did so believing that there is tomorrow. We did so believing that we have a future ahead. I rather live a comfortable life with integrity than to be wealthy and have no integrity. This journey called life and all of the vanities it comes with, people get caught up. Flashy cars, mansions, designer wears, all these things, vanity. When you die today or tomorrow, you're buried with nothing. My friend, you always say, naked you come, naked you go. And so your that desire for earthly possession, material possession, it's all waste of time. You're wasting your time. You're not going to take anything from here. You're not going to take anything from here. You leave this world, you're living as you came. Naked you came, naked you're going to leave. And so on that note, I'd like to thank you all for coming to the class. I'd like to say thanks to Bushra Radio FM 98.1, Premier FM 98.1 in Banga, Radio Tupa FM 89.1 in Grand Bassa, Voice of Lofa FM 99.3 in Fungiman, Radio Joy Africa FM 97.5, and of course, our very own Voice of Compa FM 106.5. It has been another fascinating edition of the program, The Class Reloaded. We come your way Mondays, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Liberian time, and of course, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've been your host, your humble servant, Stephen Johnson, saying, do have yourself a wonderful weekend. Stay out of trouble, be safe, and enjoy the weekend. It's the weekend, as they say. Peace out. Have fun, guys. Let me play some music for our listeners so that they can dance a little bit while we...
Friday.
Y'all dance. Let me play some songs so y'all can dance. Let me get my JMB stuff ready. Let me get my JMB stuff ready.
triple defense. Hey! But God is not the time on us defense. He's warming up. Babel is warming up. Yeah, he's jogging. And the crowd is cheering. Wow, look what I hear. But I one thing I want to tell you, Babel. It's a great defense. The game is on, and everybody's watching a game. The game is very hot, people been entertained. The ball comes to Joseph Wakayama. The home balance, he praised the ball. Move it. I see 6 opposition attack the Baba. The home is very skillful. He getting Karaputa the Kirikara. I said I'm confused, don't know where to go. They didn't even see the ball. They hit moving, logging behind, opposite behind. The Mbappe moving, and he bought with 4 defenders, and he beat the defenders. 7 defenders, and he beat the defenders. And he kicks, and it's a goal. Hey, Chakra defense. They put on a defense. Double defense, triple defense. Money Pampere is a skillful player. Hey, get and got a bit. Waka Chaka the defense. Get and got a bit. Waka Chaka the defense. Great people of Liberia, I want to introduce somebody to you. A man of impeccable character. He's a reconciler, developmental oriented, man of integrity, principle, knowledge with an experience. Join him, let's move this country forward. Hey, please be Joseph Waka. Hey, yeah. The president Joseph Waka. That Joseph Waka. The president Joseph Waka. Let us join him Waka, and together we can take Liberia. Love Liberia, and we all can build Liberia. Get and got a bit. Waka Chaka the defense. Get and got a bit. Waka Chaka the defense. Get and got a bit. you. Hey. Tell you that the papa will fall. What got coming, people? Papa, tell you that the papa will fall. What got coming, people? Papa, we just let's take Kelly, bad governance, to stop it, that we pop up waka. Yo, that we vote for, Omen Waka. What yo? Yaka, c'est lost to the family lost. Oh, for change, I saw so criminals. The Papa Dala, not on the dollar, not on the dollar, the contract in Wahala. Tell you that the Papa will fall. What got coming, people? Papa, tell you that the Papa will fall. What got coming, people? Papa, my bad people, my many people, my bella people, let the papaya my Mandingo people, my grand people, my damn people, let the papaya my crew people, my bunny people, my buzzer people, let the papaya my dead people, my Wola people, my Loma people, let the papaya that's what my own son. My Grubber people, Mana people, Bella people, getting too high. Now we're getting my kids people now. But you don't grab Toba. Mama, I see you. Jamen Duke, Mo Ali. When I was telling you, there's a Shanking Yoton, MP Costa, there's a Stevie Johnson, Senator Delon, Mala Yobli Kanga Lawrence, Mada COP, Azo, Adable, Monte getting too high.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. I am not asking for the continuation of Madam Salib. I am asking for an opportunity in my own right as someone who had worked in this country, who have seen governments come and go, and who believe that there are still a lot of things in this country that had not been touched upon, that I know I have the competence to deal with.
Sing la beer, love la beer, build la beer.
It's Virgie. Everybody, hands up. Shout out in the air. Come on now. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
The papeles conmigo. The papeles conmigo. Like a tsunami, I see him coming up. Oh, I see him coming up. The papeles coming like a hurricane, I see him coming up. Everybody shouting and screaming. Hey! Let me see you shaking it, shaking it, shaking it, shaking it, shaking it. Hey! Yeah, we're moving for Bragame. Yeah, we're moving for Bragame. On every part of the country, we're moving for Bragame. Yeah. But we will love you, power. Yeah. Oh, we love you, power. Everybody loves you, power. Hey, you say you can rock it. Hey, you say you can rock it. Hey, look at you, something beautiful, you can rock it. Rock it up, rock it. Shake it up, rock it. Shake
know you're sleeping now. You gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that left us to all our damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed and not unique they deceive us. The thing we saw it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? Just tell you that why we voted. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. No one to trust. My people don't want to hope on. My hope that I have been broken. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they were for? But they do selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. You see the reason why we ask what the